The Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers are back in the Superdome, where last January they were already thinking 3 in a row.
Here it is, baby. Next year, 3P. We're going for 3 again. We're the first team in history to do that.
The world champion San Francisco 49ers beat the New Orleans Saints. As we begin our 3rd decade of ABC's Monday Night Football.
Are you ready, all you fans out there in out there land? I say it's time again. Have mercy, let the congregation say, hey, man, it's time for the biggest, baddest party in the world. So get on up, turn it up a notch, and get ready to boogie, baby. Ow!
We're back.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for some football? We're ready. A Monday night party. Hey, this is Rockin' Randall Hank. Ready to get the good time started. From the opening kickoff to the grand finale. It's a Super Bowl season on a ABC. Yes, everybody is a fan. This is the biggest party, man. All my rowdy friends across this land. We all got it started. Yeah. Everything is ready. Everything is right. Monday Night Football is coming on tonight.
ABC's Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Nissan. Built for the human race. By Budweiser, with that clean, crisp, cold taste that makes it the king of beers. Nothing beats a Bud. By Goodyear, the tires that help keep you and your family in touch with the road, rain or shine. And by Ultra Slim Fast, a delicious, healthy way to lose weight fast.
The Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Tonight, a sellout crowd, 69,000 plus, on hand for the New Orleans Saints and the NFL champion San Francisco 49ers. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels and Dan Dierdorf. And for all of us here at ABC Sports, we'd like to welcome you to our first telecast of this, our 21st year of bringing you Monday Night Football. You guys ready? I'm ready.
I might be too ready.
Well, we're all ready. Hank's ready. I got to tell you, I've been around for 20 of the 21 years that we've been on the air with Monday Night Football. I still get the tingle of excitement, the rush of adrenaline that goes every time we tee it up here on Monday Night Football. We have a good opener for you, the San Francisco 49ers, coming into the season looking for a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl victory. If they pull that off, they will have won 5 in 10 years. It's a truly remarkable organization from the top to the bottom, and the inventive, creative management. They have great coaching, and they have Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig leading the offense, and a defense that probably has, well, you haven't known them too well because of the big names on offense, but they have been for a long time one of the great ones in the NFL. But it will be hard to three-peat, as they like to put it. They are playing in perhaps the toughest division in the National Football League, the Western Division of the NFC, and one of the tough teams they'll meet tonight, the New Orleans Saints. But I think Al Michaels, we talked to George Seifert, the coach of the 49ers, last night. He was really genuinely concerned about the preseason record. They were 1-3 in the game that they won. They probably should have lost to Denver. We televised that game. We saw that game. But I think he is deeply concerned whether this team can push the button and pick up where they left off.
He is, but they might obliterate that concern in the first 10 minutes of tonight's game. Because let's face it, a team cannot look any better than the 49ers did last January. Remember the playoffs? They obliterated the Vikings. They destroyed the Rams, and then they annihilated the Denver Broncos 55-10 in the Super Bowl. It's funny how this one team has removed the word parity from the NFL lexicon. Everybody talking parity 2 years ago. Now the key word is dynasty, and it is a dynasty when you win 4 Super Bowls over a 9-year period, and you're the consensus pick to make it 5 and 10. And let's face it, they've had great drafting. They have had great free agent signings. They've had brilliant coaching from Bill Walsh and George Seifert, and they have an owner who will do anything and spend anything to win. So they are poised, they feel, to dominate the 90s. They begin tonight against the New Orleans team, Dan, that certainly hopes they can pick up this season where they left off last year, because they performed brilliantly in their last 3 games in '89. And they finished those 3 games 3-0. We saw them on a Monday night against the Eagles, where they really manhandled Philadelphia.
And the reason for that was their quarterback. The main reason, John Fourcade.
This guy is fun, a former Arena Football League player. He makes things happen for the Saints. That's only one part of the quarterback story. We'll get into the Bobby Hebert situation. He's across Lake Pontchartrain watching this one on television, sitting out, vowing never again to play for the Saints. The Saints won 31 games in the last 3 years. Only the 49ers have won more regular season games. It's a shame they're in the same division. The 21st season here on ABC on Monday Night Football. Alan Frank, let's get it started.
And we get it started before a capacity crowd in the Superdome. And the 21st season of Monday Night Football underway as Mike Kofer sends it down to the 9-yard line, and Gil Fenerty out past the 20. And Kofer can't tackle him, and then he's finally brought down near the 35-yard line, and there's a marker down on the play. The tackle made by Martin Harrison. Our referee tonight is Jerry Markbright, and the penalty will bring it back on the run back against the Saints. Jim Mora begins his 5th season as the Saints coach.
Holding number 92 on the return. First down.
Penalty is against DeMond Winston. John Fourcade, the much-traveled one who guided this team to those 3 wins at the end of last season. And before this night is done, we'll detail the travels of John Fourcade out of the University of Mississippi. Hilliard and Hayward in the backfield. Martin and Perriman, the wideouts. Brenner is the tight end. 1st and 10 from the 10. And they begin with Reuben Mays in the starting lineup in the slot. Here's Dalton Hilliard, a great cutback runner, taking it out to the 17. Hilliard coming off his best year. One of the reasons he had a fine year last year, the offensive line. Haverdink, Dombrowski, Hilgenberg, Trapillo, and Stan Brock is the veteran of the group. Brock in his 10th season out of the University of Colorado. Hilliard picked up 8. Just past the 17. It is 2nd and 2. And it's Hilliard again, and this time going nowhere as Dombrowski can't make the block, and Matt Millen, who we called let go last year by the Raiders, picked up by the 49ers, instrumental in their championship season, makes the stop back of the line of scrimmage. Tim Burt is the nose tackle, and he'll share time tonight with Smerlis. Michael Carter is inactive. Haley is the sack specialist with Millen and Walter inside, and Romanowski in the other outside spot. The secondary with Pollard and Griffin, who was banged up in preseason. Brooks and Lott are the safeties. 3rd and a long 2. Hilliard this time is split to the left. And they send Perriman in motion. Mays stays in the block, and the pass is too high. So after an 8-yard pickup by Hilliard, there was no gain on the Hilliard run. An incomplete pass intended for Martin, and it's 3 and out, and New Orleans is forced to kick with Tommy Barnhart.
The play that really put the whammy on the Saints. You got to give a lot of credit to Matt Millen on that 2nd and short play. He just trampled Dombrowski, the left guard, and brought Hilliard down for nothing. So that's a series where Matt Millen gets a lot of the credit.
Tommy Barnhart to kick. John Taylor back to receive. Good deep kick at the 36-yard line. Taylor with room to roll. A flag is down as he crosses the 50 and is taken down at the 47-yard line. Brian Ford made the tackle, and again we'll see what Jerry Markbright's call is here.
Well, the first 2 plays in the kicking game, and we have 2 penalties.
George Seifert waiting for the call.
Holding number 26. San Francisco on the return. First down.
That's Darryl Pollard. And so instead of taking the ball in New Orleans territory, the 49ers are backed up to the 42-yard line. The 49ers, again guided by Joe Montana, who just signed a new mega-bucks 4-year contract coming off his finest season. At the 42, 1st and 10. The fake to Rathman. Montana steps up. Couldn't find any of the first 3 receivers open and steps out of bounds at the 42. So nobody was open. The secondary does its job. And Montana goes out of bounds near the line of scrimmage. Craig and Rathman are the running backs. Taylor and Wright are the wide receivers. Brent Jones, the tight end. And up front, they've decided to shift things around. Dan will discuss that in detail later, but essentially they're going with their best 5 linemen. And you'll notice Harris Barton, the longtime tackle, is now a guard. 2nd and 11 from the 41-yard line. That's Jamie Williams lined up in the slot to the right and in motion. And Montana throws to Jamie Williams, but there's a flag down at the inception of the play. Williams bumped out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
I think they're going to say that this was a dead play, and the whistle came before the play. A false start, so this is a no-brainer for the Saints. This is just the automatic 5-yard mark-off. Never happened.
And it's so noisy in here at the outset, nobody heard the whistle. Up front now, Martin and Simmons, the two ends, make their first
Number
NFL
74,
start.
offense, 2nd down.
The linebackers are clearly the strength of this defensive unit. Swilling was a late signee, so he is still working his way in the state. Massey and Cook are the corners. Massey and Atkins are the safeties. The penalty against San Francisco was on Steve Wallace for a false start. Puts it back at the 36. Makes it 2nd down and 16. Montana over the middle, and it's dropped at the 42-yard line. He tries to go to the tight end, Brent Jones, and he's hit by Sam Mills as the ball gets there.
Shortest linebacker on the field. Sam Mills only goes about 5'9", but you talked about the difference between that defensive line, the inexperience of the defensive line of the Saints and the linebackers for the Saints. All 4 of these linebackers, as you look across the line, Jackson, Mills, Johnson, and Swilling, they've all been to the Pro Bowl. So they are the guys they count on to get it done.
3rd and 16 for the 49ers, their first possession. Early first quarter, no score. Montana under pressure, throws, and nearly has it kicked off at the 39-yard line. Wayne Martin put the pressure on.
And Martin is a defensive lineman that Jim Mara, the head coach, feels must come on for this team to be a top defensive team. Here he is, the number 1 pick from a year ago out of Arkansas. Big, 6'5", 275. Montana chased out of the pocket and almost picked off.
That's really, though, a situation, guys, where if Montana was on rhythm and had a receiver open, he had plenty of time to get rid of the ball.
Barry Helton gets the kick away at the low line drive, fumbled at the 28-yard line by Robert Morse, and a pile up at the 32. Keith DeLong is near the bottom of the pile. That's him with the football, and indeed the 49ers take possession. On the fumble by Morse, after the low line drive kick, Morse probably taking his eye off the ball before it got there.
Morse striding in full speed to catch this football, and he was very close to a 49er. One would have to question the wisdom of trying to field that ball. It was a wobbly type of kick, and he was sprinting right into it. Perhaps he would have been better advised to just let it go. Another look. We move in close, follow his eyes. Does he take them off? No, he focuses on the ball. All right, he just doesn't handle it.
A break for the 49ers from the 32. Here's Roger Craig's first carry of the year, and he is stopped by 4 men in black shirts led by Jim Wilkes, number 94. He's a veteran. He used to play in fact, has spent most of his career outside. Now he's the nose tackle. His 10th year out of San Diego State. Jim Wilkes, the grandfather of this young defensive line.
The only one with a regular season start among this defensive line group. And he's got lots of them.
2nd and 9 at the 31-yard line. That's Taylor in motion. He had lined up in the backfield. Flags all over the place, and Montana's back at the 36.
Yeah, that kind of swarmy defense, you almost suspect is going to be the holding call. Swilling was in a down position, giving the Saints a 4-man defensive line.
But it was really Ricky Jackson coming around from the backside, and then the penetration on the blitz up the middle. The Saints that time just overwhelmed the 49ers on the line of scrimmage. That's been a legitimate concern.
Illegal formation foul. Offense.
Right. Here's Ricky Jackson.
Line of scrimmage.
Watch Ricky Jackson.
3rd down.
And Sam Mills is going to be coming in from the left. Jackson chases Montana, and he comes right into Sam Mills. But it's Ricky Jackson getting around the corner on Steve Wallace, and then the penetration up the middle by Sam Mills.
I think an illegal formation. This is what George Gifford is worrying about. This team has been out of gear all through preseason. We're seeing it again.
3rd and 13 out of a 4-receiver set. Montana knocked down. Intended for Taylor. And Milton Mack back there covering along with Benny Thompson.
You know, it's not easy to score against this New Orleans defense anytime, but especially in the first quarter. Again, you see the improvisation there by John Taylor, but Milton Mack just stayed right with him. No way would he lose Mack. You know, guys, these guys have only allowed 2 field goals in the first quarter in their last 15 home games. It's not easy to get off to a quick start against the Saints here at home.
Coper's trying to match his career best here, too.
52 yards. Barry Helton to hold. And the kick is good. Equaling his career best against the Redskins in 1988.
Well, now you can make it 3 field goals in their last 16 home games.
So the 49ers still without a first down, but they have the lead. 3-0 with 10:49 to go in the first quarter. He's been erratic in preseason. He's been bothered with a hip pull. Did not kick particularly well, though it didn't matter at the end of last season, but begins this year with a 52-yard field goal.
Yeah, nobody cares about him being erratic now.
At the 2-yard line, this is Reuben Mays, who brings it back to the 18. And the Saints will set up there for their second possession. And first was 3 and out. John Fourcade. He's played in, I guess, every league you can think of. The Canadian League, the United States Football League, Arena Football League. He was a replacement player during the strike in '87. And now finally, an opening day NFL starter.
And you asked Tim Mora, the head coach, what does their season depend upon, as you did last night, Al? He didn't even hesitate. This man, John Fourcade.
Who was thinking about quitting 3 years ago. First and 10 from the 18-yard line, and it's dropped. The pass was right there into the hands of the normally sure-handed Eric Martin, Saints' leading receiver. Let's take a look at a guy who you know has picked up a lot of frequent flyer mileage through the years. John Fourcade began his career in Vancouver in '82. Then he was traded to Winnipeg. Then he tried the USFL in Birmingham. Then he went to Memphis in the USFL. On to New York to try out with the Giants in '85. Down here in '86. That didn't work. On to Arena Football in '87. Back here during the strike in '87. And still here today. Second and 10 from the 18-yard line. Intended for Perriman. And it will be 3rd and 10. Low throw at his feet.
Good coverage on Perriman, and Perriman was well aware of that coverage. He was very interested in what the safety was going to do to him.
And that safety was Ronnie Lott, and Ronnie Lott was coming over him to give a major league kiss.
Perriman's looked at a lot of tapes, hasn't he?
Yes, and Ronnie Lott, it's funny, Ronnie Lott was tracking the destination of the ball more than he was tracking Perriman. Perriman gets out of the way just in time, and actually Don Griffin ends up taking a little shot there.
Well, you get a good idea what an intimidating reputation can do for a pass defense.
3rd and 10. We have not had a first down or a completed pass in the game. And still don't. Fourcade is 0 for 4, and Montana is 0 for 3. And the Saints on their first 2 possessions are 3 and out.
I point out that Fourcade was hurt last week against Indianapolis, came out of the game. They thought he was really hurt seriously. It turned out to be just a bruised chest. At least that's what he told us last night. But he is certainly wild here in the early going. He was wild last week against Indianapolis also. 3 of 11, I think it was. And 3 interceptions.
Tommy Barnhart for his second punt. John Taylor back to the team. Taylor at the 37. Escapes the first man in the second, but not the third. And the tackle is made by by Benny Thompson out at the 42-yard line. So here comes Montana to guide the 49ers who lead 3-0 early on. The San Francisco 49ers on opening night leading at 3-0 on a 52-yard Mike Cofer field goal. First and 10, San Francisco from the 43-yard line. And Tom Rathman picks up 3, taking it to the 46. What are the 49ers trying to do this year? Among other things, it could happen in 1990. It could be the first team to win 5 Super Bowls, the first team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls, first team to win 10 or more games for 8 consecutive years, and the first team to win 12 consecutive road games. Tonight, they seek their 11th consecutive road win, which would tie a record they share with the Chargers. Second and 7. Montana completes his first pass of the season for a first down to Taylor at the New Orleans 44-yard line.
What is it? Only one team, the Denver Broncos, have a better home record during that same period for the 49ers streak than the 49ers road record. Remarkable.
It's an amazing figure as you watch Montana hit Taylor. What Frank is pointing out is that only the Broncos, as a home team, played better than the 49ers played on the road for the whole decade. First and 10 at the 44-yard line with Rathman in motion. Off the fake, going deep, too deep. Intended for Jerry Rice, and Toy Cook was covering on the play.
The Niners know where to go. Toy Cook was beaten twice last week by Indianapolis receivers on deep touchdowns. And Indianapolis receivers are not this man, Jerry Rice.
But watch the blanket that Cook gives him, but look at the acceleration on Rice. I mean, at one point in time, about 20 yards back, Toy Cook was 2 or 3 yards beyond Jerry Rice, and in the span of about 15 yards, Rice not only caught him, but moved 2 yards past Cook. And Toy Cook is not slow. No one accelerates to come under the ball better than Jerry Rice.
Second and 10. Montana steps up and away from the pressure and connects for a first down to Brent Jones, who's covered and tackled by Vaughn Johnson at the 31. So back-to-back first down for San Francisco.
One of the dilemmas when you play the 49ers and get into that kind of a situation, do you cover Brent Jones, a good receiver, developed into quite a receiver last year with 40 receptions? Do you cover him with a linebacker, as the Saints did then with Vaughn Johnson, in order to get the double coverage on the outside? Because Brent Jones, I mean, the fact that he's covered by a linebacker, that is not lost upon the 49er coaches.
And even if you cover the wideout and the tight end, they want to go to the running back. Here's Craig, who can't get out of the backfield. Great play by Vaughn Johnson.
Vaughn Johnson was a Pro Bowler last year and probably should have been before that. He is maybe the best of this group. It's all-around linebacker play. Willing perhaps the best rushing the pass, but this man does it all. We saw him a moment ago covering Brent Jones, and here he makes the big play on Roger Craig.
Well, the 49ers trying to pull both guards, and Johnson just picks his spot and goes right between two of the pulling offensive linemen. And, boy, that's timing a blitz as good as you can do it.
On second and 14, Montana on a short roll hits Rathman, and he's taken down at the 30-yard line, caught from behind by Sam Mills, and it will be 3rd and 9 upcoming.
Now, there's a good example of what we've talked about already, about the quality of this New Orleans linebacking core. There's Sam Mills locked up one-on-one with Tom Rathman, has to cover all the ground to get out there, and then has absolutely no help. And that's one of the things, Frank, the 49ers have always done so well. Isolate a guy like Rathman on a linebacker, then he breaks the tackle and picks up extra yardage.
3rd and 9 from the 30. Montana under a lot of pressure again. Incomplete. Saints team blitzing. They picked up one blitzer, but not another. Wayne Martin, in the end, also putting pressure on Montana, forcing the hasty throw and setting up another Cofer field goal attempt of roughly 48 yards this time.
Willing coming in from the outside once again. It's just disruptive. They're not getting to Montana, but and even with the scheme of things, the 49ers like to get rid of that ball quickly. They are forcing Joe to get rid of that ball much more quickly than he wants to.
Here's Topher, who's already made one from 52, this from 47. As Helton puts it down, that one has the distance, but not the accuracy.
Well, he's back to being inconsistent. How quickly we forget a 52-yarder.
And all in all, the New Orleans Saints kind of dodged a bullet. It's been the 49ers deep in their territory throughout the entire first quarter, and now they get out to their 30-yard line, and they're only down by 3.
Missed, just barely missed, a 47-yard field goal attempt, unless the Saints take over at the previous spot, the 30, on 1st and 10. And this is Dalton Hilliard swinging to the outside, and then runs into Ronnie Lott, who pushes him forward for a couple of yards. So Will Hilliard at 5'8", 204 pounds, runs right into Ronnie Lott and takes him for a little ride.
Hilliard had the leverage on Ronnie Lott. Ordinarily, he would stop a running back in his tracks. The Hilliard only goes about 5'8", and he just is underneath Ronnie Lott, and nothing Ronnie Lott can do about it. He just takes the ride.
Yard pickup, 2nd down and 5. Saints line up with 3 tight ends and send one of them tight in motion. 2nd and 5, Fourcade after the Hilliard fake. Rolling against the grain. And before he steps out of bounds, somehow finds receiver and Obi Brenner at the 44 of the 49ers.
And downfield, Brett Perryman not covered at all. There's a flag down, but Brett Perryman was deep downfield. Nobody had picked him up at all. He was jumping up and down and banged his head on the carpet after it was over.
Well, you got to wonder if New Orleans able to pull that off without somebody being downfield.
You got it.
And what if that somebody is the quarterback?
That was the call.
The line of scrimmage was the 35-yard line. Take another look.
Illegal forward pass.
Remember, it's the 35.
He's still on his feet. And there. Oh, you heard the crowd react. They just got the same look that we got. The line of scrimmage was exactly the 35-yard line. Here's our sideline look. Now remember, well, again, this is a very difficult look.
And they are going to review this right now. And again, it's interesting here. They've changed the rule this year.
The old rule was it was the ball. They would zero in on the ball to see if the ball was across the line of scrimmage. This year, the NFL has clarified it and said we're going to look at the feet. We're going to take a look at the feet and where they were in relation to the line of scrimmage. Now, what's, I think, confusing that, if Kenny, maybe we could take a look at that again. Look at the ball. The ball is just short. The nose of it is across the 35-yard line. Now let's go ahead and look at Fourcade's feet. Now you can see clearly his left foot is behind. That's his right. There comes his left. You know, from that angle, and again, keep in mind this camera is ahead of the 35. It looks good.
But they did not overrule it. So the penalty stands, and it's 3rd down and 10. Fourcade from the shotgun finds Perriman. He has a 1st down. He gets into 49er territory and runs out at the 45-yard line.
Well, John Fourcade just has that magical quality. I don't know how long it will last, but he showed it in the final 3 games of last year, and things happen when number 11 is on the field.
That time he found the speed of the receivers. Brett Perryman, the 3rd-year man out of Miami, not big, 5'9", 180. He had a great preseason, did he? Averaging almost 25 yards a catch. And watch him kick in the afterburner right here. Good speed.
25-yard pickup. Saints have it at the San Francisco 45-yard line. 4:45 to go in the quarter. 3-0 49ers. Hilliard on 1st down picks up a very hard 2. Michael Walker, who led the team in tackles last year, came on this one, along with Pierce Holt. 2nd and 8. Well, we open tonight in New Orleans, and we go to the Rockies next Monday. The Kansas City Chiefs, who knocked off Minnesota by 3 yesterday against the Denver Broncos, who try to rebound after their defeat at the hands of the Raiders. So right off the bat, a pretty important game for the Broncos in the early season.
First time we've seen Kansas City in a long time. And good look at Christian Okoye, their huge running back, had a big day yesterday.
2nd and 9. New Orleans at the 44-yard line. Fourcade finds the open man. Martin, first down at the 27-yard line. Eric Martin catching the pass for the 42nd consecutive game.
And one that was dipped in there by John Fourcade. He has a strong arm. We talked to Jim Moore about it. He said he's got a much stronger arm than Tommy Kramer, Bobby Hebert, who's not signed by the New Orleans Saints. He finds the right receiver. The sure-handed Eric Martin likes to work at this distance. He's not gifted with great speed, but again, you saw the hitting capabilities of Ronnie Lott, number 42.
Well, Ronnie Lott took a little criticism during the preseason game. Remember the game we had in Denver where Bobby Humphries moves right by him. And I think we're seeing Ronnie Lott expressing himself here on opening night.
1st and 10 from the 26, and through the hands of Martin. His second drop. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Another fine pass by Fourcade. In and out of the hands of Eric Martin.
Well, thrown at exactly the right time, too. He threw that, and you saw there Eric Martin looking up at one of the big video screens here in the Superdome, kind of checking out what went wrong, but extremely well thrown by John Fourcade.
Martin has been the leading receiver the past 3 years for the Saints.
There's a great aid to the players. You'll see a lot of them look up at that and watch the replay as they're heading back to the huddle or to the sideline.
2nd and 10 from the 26-yard line. This is Craig Ironhead Hayward, who takes it to the 23-yard line. He has been in and out of Jim Mora's doghouse as a little scuffle breaks out. Nothing major, but Hayward, who packs, I guess, around 250 or 260, known as Ironhead, but Mora would prefer him to be known as Iron Stomach.
He's got a perennial weight problem. He comes to camp every year heavier than Jim Mora would like. He's really in that 260 range. He's a talent, a hard worker, and a very popular member of the Saints, but his weight is clearly a handicap.
3rd and 8 from the 24-yard line. Mays is the sole running back in this set. He stays in the block. A lot of pressure on Fourcade. And it's dropped at the 13-yard line by Hobie Brenner.
And I think he was throwing to Eric Martin. Hobie Brenner drops the ball, but I think he was actually trying to loft it over the top for Eric Martin, who was moving about 5 yards behind Brenner. Watch it from this angle. You're going to see Brenner in the front, but there's Eric Martin back behind. Now, anytime you see two guys that close together, Frank, someone is where he's not supposed to be.
I'm sure they didn't draw it up on the board that way.
No. Morton Anderson, who's been erratic in preseason and did not fare well in the second half of last year. A 41-yard attempt. Tommy Barnhart, the holder, and this one was like the old Morton Anderson. So the Saints cash in for 3 and tie it with 2:31 to go in the opening quarter on opening night in New Orleans. Going over things for the Saints offensive line, they were able to get in position for Morton Anderson. 41-yard field goal. Next time the game, and Anderson puts it in the air. And it's a typical Morton Anderson kick. As he sends it 5 yards into the end zone with Dexter Carter down. You'll notice that Joe Montana is wearing an elbow pad tonight. He had a bruised forearm during preseason. He had a bursa sack problem last year. Some people made a lot of it going into tonight's game, but go back to last year, the Super Bowl. There's a shot from the Super Bowl last year. Montana wore that same elbow pad here in January. He was 22 of 29 for 297 yards and 5 touchdowns. It really hindered him.
I'd wear it to bed.
I put one on the other elbow.
From the 20-yard line, Roger Craig gets stumped at the 16 by Robert Massey, who was coming up on a corner blitz. Massey, last year a rookie and one of the few rookies in the league to start every game.
He's tough against the run, too. Real forceful player. Here he is, number 40, coming up, making the contact beyond the line of scrimmage, and a real good hit.
You can see number 79, Harris Barton, the pulling guard, trying to get out there, and he gets picked off up in the middle by the penetration of the Saints. That left Massey unblocked, and he makes it.
2nd and 14, and Montana doesn't like this alignment and calls it timeout.
Well, Jerry Rice was going one direction and multiple movement here.
I think this perhaps is what, again, has troubled George Seifert. It's not the well-oiled machine that we saw at the end of the year, certainly in the Super Bowl, and obviously he has expressed his concern about it.
The ball 3 times for -7 in a quicker start. And Mike Gerard makes the catch, and Milton Mack rides him out of bounds at the 20-yard line. You'll recall Gerard was drafted by the Cowboys but broke his leg, and then the 49ers finally picked him up. He re-broke the same leg and tried to come back. And if he can be what they thought he was going to be in Dallas, well, bad news for the rest of the league.
Well, he is already what many people thought he would never be, and that is a player in the National Football League. After breaking the leg twice, Mike Gerard has already gone places that people didn't think he could.
3rd and 10 from the 20. And Montana throws, and was Taylor in bounds? Yes, according to the back judge at the 31-yard line. Perfect move by Taylor, who turned it out just past the first down marker and picked up 11.
Good way to get man-for-man coverage. 4 wide receivers in for the 49ers. You got to cover in man-for-man. This time it was Mack who was the victim of Taylor.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Great timing.
Beautiful. The right foot was down and then just dragging the left toes across the carpet, even as he was catching the ball.
Toe danced out of bounds for the first down. Picked up of 11. 49ers for their first 3rd down conversion.
And Artis.
Montana will run out of bounds at the 36-yard line. He was chased by Sam Mills and picked up 5.
Do you remember when Joe Montana first came in the National Football League? If you had to pick one topic that everyone talked about when he initially broke into the game, it was his mobility. I mean, no one really talked about his feel for the game or his great passing arm. They talked about his mobility, and even at this stage of his career, it is still one of Joe Montana's strongest assets. Not just his ability to move around the pocket, but even when he gets outside, he can still break containment and pick up like 5 or 6 yards on a play like that.
A la his backup, Steve Young. They talk about Young's mobility. You can't forget about Montana in that same regard.
You're right.
Here's Craig seeking the first down and should have it as he reaches the 42. Sam Mills makes the stop. And that should be the final play of the quarter. And there is Steve Young, the perennial backup, as good a number 2 quarterback as you'll find in the NFL.
Might be as good a number 2 running back as some teams have.
Just there, makes $1.1 million. That's a good way to keep him around, keep him happy.
Not a bad consolation prize. Into the quarter, time of 3. Back we come after this commercial message and a word from our ABC station. In Dierdorf, we start the second quarter. San Francisco with a first down at its own 41-yard line. Montana has time to set up the screen. The screen goes nowhere, and Roger Craig runs out of bounds at the 40, and that's a loss of 2. Well, the 49ers trying to become the first to win 3 straight Super Bowls. I thought back to when Pittsburgh had won the 2 straight and Miami had won the 2 straight. I can't remember them being as favored by as much of a consensus as the 49ers are this year.
They were just about everybody's pick. I guess we could go back to the days of the Green Bay Packers. They won 2 NFL championships, and then they won a Super Bowl.
I tell you what, though, guys, if you give me the other 27 teams and you both take the 49ers, I'll take the other 27 teams. But I agree, they are the odds-on favorites. But will they win the Super Bowl? The odds are that it'll be someone else.
2nd and 11 from the 41-yard line as Roger Craig takes it to the 44-yard line. A pickup at 3. Wayne Martin, number 93, in the second year out of Arkansas, in on the stop, and shy of a first down by 8. 3rd and 8. You're covered for the first 15 minutes.
Offensive shootout.
Yeah, big 59 yards there for the Saints.
44 for the 49ers.
But the important one for us, it's a tie ball game at the end of 1. You know, the other side of that about who's going to win the Super Bowl and who's not. Are the 49ers the best team in football? By a bunch.
Yes. 3rd down, 8 from the 44. And Montana has a first down as he hits Gerard, and his forward progress takes him to the 46-yard line. Catching it in traffic and pushed back but not until he reached the 46 of New Orleans.
There's
Mike
Sherrard, Frank, doing his Jerry Rice imitation.
Well, actually, Jerry Rice says he looks like a mirror of me, but in talking with Joe Montana last night, we mentioned Mike Sherrard, asking how he was coming along, and we talked again about the 2 broken legs, and Montana's eyes just lit up, and he started to describe just visually what kind of a stride he has, what great speed he has, and you could just see him licking his lips to have him in there with Taylor and Jerry Rice. 3 incredible receivers.
On the 46-yard line. Craig, flag is down. And Craig is out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Flag thrown by the umpire.
We talk about quarterbacks and different quarterbacks, and I remember back to last year opening up a telecast by saying that Joe Montana was the best quarterback who ever played, having the best year that any quarterback ever had. But has any quarterback ever had the weapons at his disposal?
Number 62, offense, first down.
That Joe Montana has now. I mean, when you look at Rice and Taylor and Wilson and Sherrard as receivers, but then on top of it, yeah, take a look at this. I mean, just look at some of the weapons. There's Guy McIntyre right here, the left guard. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. And then when you factor in Rathman and Craig as receivers.
John McVay's a good football man, but it's nice to have an owner. When you tell him you want something, he'll tell you to go out and get it. And that's what they've done.
McIntyre, that time holding Turnbull, puts it back to the 44-yard line. It's 1st and 20. And the play clock ran down to 0. So a delay of game penalty against the 49ers, and will make it 1st and 25. And again, this year, remember last year after the whistle was blown, they had started at 30. Now they started at 25.
Well, they've had illegal formations. They've blown the clock. They've had the wrong players on the field. You have a very unhappy second-year coach there in George Seifert.
And they don't waste any time getting it started. It's going to be down under 10 by the time the 49ers break this huddle.
But this was the stuff, Dan, you get used to in preseason, and the 49ers haven't.
1st and 25. Montana's going to go again now.
I mean, to get out of there.
They were very leisurely going about their business back in the huddle. A double mess-up.
And they've used 2 of their 3 timeouts with 12:04 yet to play in the half. Tonight football is being brought to you by Cadillac Motor Car Company. Discover why the only way to travel is Cadillac style. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just the light. After the timeout and the penalties, it is 1st and 25 for the 49ers. And from the 39-yard line, here's Rathman for a gain of 6 and tackled out at the 45-yard line by the safety Gene Atkins in the corner, Troy Cook.
Again, we see a 49er back come out of the backfield and not break a tackle, and it's not because Tom Rathman is doing anything wrong. This is the game plan that you must employ against the San Francisco 49ers. The guy who gets the first shot at a back coming out of there has got to make the tackle. It's such a critical part of the 49ers game plan to have that guy get away.
Now New Orleans calls a timeout without the proper defensive people on the field on an upcoming 2nd and 19. So this has the look of a preseason team.
It does.
Timeouts left and right. We'll take a timeout as well. 2nd down and 19. Jerry Rice, the 4-time Pro Bowler, has yet to catch a pass tonight. As Montana retreats on 2nd and 19, and can't get it away. Sacked for the 3rd time at the 39-yard line, and Ronaldo Turnbull, the #1 draft choice from West Virginia.
And Ronaldo Turnbull, you talk about getting under the pads. Take a look at this bull rush against the right guard, Harris Barton. He gets underneath Barton and just runs Barton beyond Montana and stops and makes a sack along the way. That is called leverage. That's how you get underneath and drive a guy back.
That'd be what George Seifert is wondering about, too, with Harris Barton in there at guard. He's played most of his career as tackle.
3-man rush on 3rd and 24, and he bounces it to John Taylor, who was covered by Massey. So the 49ers on that series with a timeout, 2 penalties, and a 4th and 24 has to punt.
And here comes the crowd to their feet in the Superdome for the New Orleans defense. This is one of the great football crowds in America.
Larry Helton to kick, and Bobby Morse, who muffed the last punt, is back. And this is a line drive caught at the 21 by Morse, and he runs it back out to the 39-yard line. So a very low kick, enabling Morse to bring it back 18 and set up New Orleans at the 39. Happening in the game, it's tied at 3, though the Niners have had the ball about twice as much as the Saints.
No, but if that ends up being the stat at the end of the game with the 49ers having the ball twice as much, they'll win the game.
Here's Reuben Mays, and the whistle blew before the inception of the play, so there's no play. It was a false start.
Yeah, my point there is New Orleans can't do that to their defense. Allow the 49ers to have the ball twice as much as they have it. And I hope I look like that when I'm 55.
Me too.
Right side of offensive line. No play. 5 yards, first down.
It is hard to believe when you look at Jim Mora. He is 55 years old.
I mean, this guy could be a movie star. I mean, he is classically handsome, and he's 55 years old. Jack Kemp's roommate, is that it, Frank?
Yeah, in Occidental College. Dear friend, roommate, and teammate. Both of them having played at Occidental. They had a big reunion.
He has turned it around here in New Orleans, as you can see. He's won everywhere he's been.
And they didn't have a winning season until he got here.
1st and 15. Here's Hilliard. Big hole for Dalton. Hilliard out to the 50-yard line and should have a first down. Stopped by Ronnie Lott after a gain of 16.
Who dat? Who dat? Their battle cry here in New Orleans. Al, you got to stop saying New Orleans, by the way. I mean, I know that's correct, but we're in Louisiana now, and they say Nolans down it.
You're right.
We're Nolans.
Follow the Big Easy. Here comes Dalton Hilliard. Again, the little one with the powerful legs, 5'8", who just keeps getting better year in and year out. A Pro Bowler a year ago with over 1,200 yards.
Here's Mays for a gain of 4. So Fourcade will lead him up to the 46. We should mention early on about John Fourcade. He had a longtime girlfriend, a beautiful lady by the name of Christine Fricker, and they're going to go without a huddle here for the first time. 2nd and 6 from the 46-yard line. Fourcade under pressure. For grab, and it's incomplete.
Oh, and he got away with something there. You can't do that.
Well, he thought he was in arena football and was going to throw it into the net and put it in the penalty box or something. Bad toss, John.
What did he tell you, Dan, the low point of his career when he jumped over the board down in Pittsburgh playing for the Denver Dynamite in arena football?
Al, go ahead and finish this story because this is really sad.
It ties in with him playing arena football, and Christine Frischardt, his longtime girlfriend of 4 years, was diagnosed as having a malignant tumor in August and died following surgery. That happened about 2.5 weeks ago, and obviously here is a man who has been severely distracted over the past couple of weeks. 3rd and long, and this one's incomplete, and overthrowing the intended receiver, Lonzel Hill. So very tough times for a very tough man. John Fourcade.
He talked about all the places he has been, but he was very candid with us. He said she was one of the reasons, and she was the one who said, stay with it, John, you can do it.
Well, look right there, though, at the 3 49ers. I mean, there's a case where John has to come off his primary receiver. I mean, he threw into not single coverage or double coverage, but actually triple coverage by the 49ers.
Tommy Barnhart to kick now on 4th and 6. Fair catch is called for and made at the 10-yard line by John Taylor. 36-yard boot. Keeps the 49ers deep in their own territory. 9:32 left in the half. And here to welcome the newest member to our ABC family, WHAS TV's Channel 11 in Louisville. A great station in the Bluegrass Country. Their first exposure to Monday Night Football. Welcome aboard.
Glad to have you aboard. John, I've been broadcasting for many years.
49ers from their 10. Here's Craig. Stops at the line of scrimmage. Marker down. Mackey came up to hit him first. Back judge makes the call. Jerry Markwright's our referee. Back judge is Doug Toole, holding against San Francisco.
There's Harris Barton, number 79, coming out front. Tom Rathman. A good job by Rathman of slipping one guy and then getting out into Robert Massey. I'm not sure who got flagged for the hold, but Jerry will tell us.
Holding number 84, offense. Half the distance, first down.
Well, Brent Jones, the tight end, the guy that drew the flag.
Fourcade going over things with Tommy Kramer. That's right, the longtime Viking quarterback. Let's go by Minnesota. Signing on here, 1st and 15. Montana finding the open receiver at the 17-yard line. That's Taylor, and he works his way out to the 19, so they pick up most of it. And it'll be 2nd and 1.
You know, we talk so many times about Roger Craig and what a complete ball player he is. Look at Ricky Jackson, one of the great linebackers in this game. Look at the shot that he took from Roger Craig that sent him flat on his back. That's, you know, that's a part of the game that a player like Roger Craig you don't see if you just follow the football.
2nd and 2, and here's Craig, and he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Jim Wilkes.
Well, he should have been blocking for himself.
And it will be 3rd, and let's call it a short 2.
There's Jim Wilkes just slipping the block of the center, Jesse Sapolu. Sapolu could have even been flagged for the hold, but again, Sapolu late coming into camp. Guy McIntyre, the left guard, late coming in, only had one preseason game before the opener tonight. And Jim Wilkes, the guy there from the beginning, and he looked it.
3rd and 2 with slip back, and Rice and Taylor both set up on the left. Craig in motion. And after the short drop by Montana, it's intercepted on a pass intended for Jones. Coy Cook gives New Orleans a first down at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, but give credit to Vaughn Johnson. Vaughn Johnson, number 53, is all over Brent Jones at tight end. Montana just takes a 3-step drop, but look at Johnson. Superlative coverage by an inside linebacker. Vaughn Johnson, a Pro Bowler last year, makes that thing happen, and Toy Cook is there. Again, look at the upper right part of your screen. Johnson all over Brent Jones. No chance to complete the pass. Did he deflect it a little bit? I can't tell or not if Johnson actually got a hand on the ball.
I thought he did.
It looked like it.
Perfect position on it.
Ooh, nice.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. Here's Reuben Mays, who missed all of last season, had Achilles surgery, had a sensational rookie year in 1986, but his numbers have been steadily diminishing because he seems to wind up in surgery after every season.
After the 86 season, a 1,000-yard season for Reuben Mays, he had knee surgery, reconstructive surgery, came back the next year. 87, had over 600 yards rushing, then the Achilles tendon, and now they say he's back to what he was when he was a rookie. What a combination it is with Mays and Hilliard in that backfield.
And here we got Hilliard split out here to the bottom as a wide receiver.
Fourcade, after asking for quiet, on 2nd and 9. Mays stays in the block. Catch is made by Hilliard. No, never had possession. Incomplete.
Well, that was the design all along, guys. Flank Dalton out as a wide receiver and then just run that quick slant. The ball was kind of like down on the hip, Frank, and you know how hard those are to catch.
Get the ball to Hilliard and let him run. He's one of the fine receivers, 52 receptions a year ago. He's the offense for the New Orleans Saints. It's basically conservative, very conservative team, as most people would look at them. Sometimes the fans down here, the critics get on them for being too conservative. But let's face it, the last 3 years they've done well. 12 and 3, then they went 10 and 6, and last year 9 and 7.
Shotgun, 4 receivers in the set. 3rd down and 9. And Fourcade lost it for Lonzel Hill and batted away on a beautiful play by Eric Davis, the rookie out of Jacksonville State. 3rd round pick, backs it away.
Well, as good as the coverage by Vaughn Johnson to set up the interception, Eric Davis turns in the same kind of coverage again. And look how smart he was to turn back and look at the ball. Sensing the ball was coming in, rather than keeping his back to the quarterback, turns, picks up the ball, and is able to get up. I mean, that is how you play cornerback.
Well, I mean, the key to that is striding with that receiver. Keep your eyes on him when he looks like the ball is going to be there. Then you look.
Morton Anderson from 39. And he's 2 for 2. The old Anderson is back. Mentioned Davis actually picked in the second round, but he was their third pick. They had a first-round pick, Dexter Carter, and then 2 choices in round 2. Anderson splits the upright from 39. New Orleans has the lead. 6:54 to go in the half.
The good old Bob. We're speechless, all of us. It works. Skinny coaches.
More time. More time.
Back deep to receive Spencer Tillman and Dexter Carter with Morton Anderson to kick off for the Saints. 6:54 remaining, first half. This is Dexter Carter, their #1 draft choice.
Look out, boy, that was close.
20-yard run back takes it to the 30-yard line. Well, tonight, the San Francisco 49ers having a very difficult time getting things started, especially as far as the running game is concerned, but that's really nothing new against New Orleans rushing defense. 49ers averaging a measly 1.2 yards per carry. And we'll show you after this play just how tough that Saints run defense was last year. First and 10, 49ers from the 30-yard line.
You've got me in suspense. Do I have to wait?
Just a little bit longer. Catch is made by Brent Jones, and he picks up the first down. He was trailed by Vaughn Johnson. Take a look at the Saints last year. In 1989, they allowed the fewest yards per game on the ground, and only a little bit more than 3.5 yards per carry, second lowest, and held 11 straight opponents below 100 yards in the game. Of course, the flip side of that was they were very vulnerable to the pass.
Say that's the good news. The bad news is they were only 2 teams that were worse against the pass.
Can't be good at everything.
Well, maybe you find out a team can't defend against the pass, forget about running.
You guys are so picky.
First and 10 from the 43-yard line. Montana checks off and hits receiver number 3, and that's Tom Rathman, who led the conference in receptions by running backs last year. Was topped only in the league by John L. Williams of Seattle. Rathman caught 73 in 1989. He picks up about 8 here. It'll be second and 2. Well, Penn State trying to rebound after that loss to Texas over the weekend, and they'll run right into Todd Marinovich coming off that sensational performance in the Kickoff Classic against Syracuse. You'll see that, or you'll see Colorado against Illinois in another one of our featured games on Saturday. Some of you will see Miami trying to rebound after their defeat at the hands of BYU against the California team under Bruce Snyder that went into Madison and knocked off Wisconsin. College football this Saturday. Second and a long 2, and they pick up that and a lot more on Jerry Rice's first catch of the game. And of the year, of course, as Troy Cook provides the coverage.
Hard to believe with 5 minutes remaining in the first half. First reception for Jerry Rice, who caught 82 a year ago, 72 touchdowns. And look at the respect that Troy Cook gives Jerry Rice. Albeit that Troy Cook gave up a couple of TD passes last week against Indianapolis, and he was burned earlier, and they couldn't get the completion to him. He just gives Rice all the room he wants in front.
You want to go down and tell him he ought to be playing a little tighter?
No, if I were Troy Cook, I'd be looking for help.
First and 10 from the 43, and Jamie Williams, who is the motion man, pays the price after he picks up 3. Gene Atkins hog-ties him.
Jerry Rice might as well have a fuse dangling out of the back of his shirt, because you know he's going to go off sooner or later before this night's over. Again, a continued good tackling evening by the New Orleans defense. By and large, the first defender that is called upon to make the tackle is up to the task in doing so.
4:10 to play in the half. 6-3 Saints. Second and 7 from the 40. Rathman in motion. Saints show blitz. Craig can't get out of the backfield. Now he does, as he flipped the first couple of attempted tackles and takes it down to the 36-yard line. Stopped by Atkins and Mills.
Well, it's tough enough when you have to dodge the guys wearing the black jerseys. Roger Craig had to bump and be jostled by his own guys. There he gets hit by Steve Wallace, the right tackle coming over. Now he has to get out of Wallace's way again. And then it's finally Gene Atkins that comes up and puts the hit on him. That's a great run by Roger Craig.
3rd and 3 from the 36-yard line. Montana sending 5 receivers into the pattern and then does it himself and takes it to the 32 and has the first down. Brett Maxey comes up for the tackle.
Great presence again on the part of Montana. He knew exactly how many yards he had to go. He looked up and maybe he could have squeezed one off, but he also knew that he could get the first down if he pulled it down.
Watch Guy McIntyre, the left guard, run Ronaldo Turnbull all the way out of his pass lane. That's what really made it happen up front. Guy McIntyre, number 62, takes his man. There's not even a black shirt on the right side of your screen there. Not going to take Joe Montana long to figure that out. There's a good look at Guy McIntyre, 62. Good work.
1st and 10 from the 32. Intended for Mike Wilson, who had broken off his pattern. Covered by Robert Massey. Mike Wilson, we mentioned it during the preseason game in Denver, you'd win a lot of bets. He's one of the few 49ers with all 4 Super Bowl rings. There he is. Just keeps rolling along in his 10th year out of Washington State.
He's tough underneath. Very strong receiver. That time he was picked up and covered well, and Montana just threw it away because the coverage was good once again on the part of the Saints.
Well, who do they have left? They got Wilson, they have Montana, they've got Tina Turner and Ronnie Lott.
Right.
Just the 4 of them.
2nd and 10. Here's Rathman.
And they almost didn't have Tina Turner.
Turner was waived and then re-signed, and there's a scuffle that ensues.
And Gene Atkins, Sans helmet.
Small helmet.
Well, I anglicized it. Sans helmet.
An interesting little twist.
You're going to take on an offensive tackle. You're giving away about 100 pounds. You better keep your hat on.
That's exactly right. Whatever it is, you want to have the helmet on.
There's Keeney. He was actually waived the other day and then re-signed for many great years here with San Francisco.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down and 5 for the 49ers. Saints ahead by a field goal. Back to New Orleans. Keep in mind now, as the clock runs down here in the first half, 2 minutes to go, the 49ers have already spent 2 of their 3 timeouts, so just 1 remains. They have a 3rd and 5 at the Saint 27-yard line.
And as sloppy as the 49ers have played this first half, you just keep looking at Jerry Rice and John Taylor thinking Montana's going to hit him on something short. They're going to break a tackle, and boom, they'll be in the end zone.
Rice in motion. Montana gets buried at the 35-yard line. Ricky Jackson and Jim Wilk for the sack, and that puts them back in a position where if Kofor comes in, it's a field goal of about 52 yards.
I don't know how you could have a defense operating better than New Orleans is right now with all 11 guys. Because if you look downfield, there was not a 49er, was even an option for Joe Montana. I mean, everybody here functioned perfectly.
Good jump on the ball by Ricky Jackson, 10-year veteran. He used to be one of the best at this, and he's still awfully good at it.
Here's Kofor now attempting again a 52-yarder, this time in the other direction. He made one from 52, just missed one from 47. And Kofor this time has the distance, but again, not the accuracy.
And more than that, the Saints get good field position. They'll mark it at the line of scrimmage, and that's the 35-yard line. The Saints now can start thinking in an ambitious way.
Well, right now the 49ers are experiencing something that they're quite used to, and that is they are the target for everybody. I mean, this Saints crowd is into it here at the Superdome. This is the Super Bowl for teams like New Orleans, and everybody the Niners will play. You know, they saw it last year, but still, you get the best effort that your opponent has to give when you're going to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Also, in recent years, the Niners have not played particularly well early in the season, but they have pulled off a lot of miracle wins early on. From the 35-yard line, here's Dalton Hilliard swinging to the outside and chased out of bounds by Walter and Griffin, stopping the clock with 1:23. And the Saints, as we look ahead, have 2 timeouts remaining.
Al, to take what you were talking about a step farther, you know, looking forward to the second half, New Orleans is a team that has had problems holding on to the lead. 4 times last year where they were leading at the half and even leading at the end of the third quarter. They went ahead and lost the ball game. So this is a team not used to holding on to a lead.
And how unusual was that? And it happened only once before in the history of the league. 2nd and 6. The open man over the middle is number 80, Brett Perriman, who makes the catch, and then Ronnie Lott buries him at the 48-yard line. First down.
He gave him a knee in the head after he was down, too.
But again, with that missed field goal and the line of scrimmage being the 35-yard line, the Saints could take the ball upfield.
You think Ronnie Lott is a competitor? I mean, watch what he does to Perriman, even after Perriman's down.
This time Perriman at least kept his eyes on it. Was not looking for Lott.
That's a mistake.
48 seconds remaining. Again, the catch is made by Perriman, but there's nowhere to go as he is blanketed as he makes the catch by Darryl Pollard. And the Saints now stop the clock. So they use a timeout. They have one more remaining, and we have 44 ticks left in the half.
I think there's a good example, guys, of where greatness infects everyone around you. I mean, there is Darryl Pollard coming up and making a Ronnie Lott type hit on the coverage. I mean, you cannot play with a man like this, with Ronnie Lott, anywhere in your immediate vicinity and not have his style of play rub off. Great players make other people around them play better than they really are.
Here was a moment ago you were talking about. There's Perriman keeping his eyes on the football, but he had to know that this man, number 42, was going to be around.
And there's a little extra.
With no respect for his body, Lott just hurls it around. He also is a leading interceptor all time for these 49ers.
No respect for Perriman's body.
I was going to say no respect.
At all.
Let's just say no respect.
But you're right, it is infected.
2nd and 8. Perriman still in one piece. Split off to the left. And Fourcade throws. The catch made by Martin. Breaks the tackle at the 31. Whoa! Then goes down at the 34 and loses the ball, but the play stands. Waymer made the hit, the former Saint. Now playing in the 49ers secondary. Again, the Saints with that one timeout left. The clock is down to 20 seconds on first down. And Fourcade will go out of bounds to stop it with 15 seconds.
Did you see, guys, the last play, Joel Hilgenberg fly downfield and give Ronnie Lott a little welcome back?
The game within the game.
The game within the game.
Ball at the 26, so right now you're looking at a 43-yard Morton Anderson field goal if they advance no further. 15 seconds to play. Perriman and Martin are split to the left. And they send Hilliard wide right. Fourcade flushed out again. Throwing from Martin, and Martin goes down at the 10 on a necktie by Don Griffin. And now the Saints will have to take their last time out with 6 seconds.
Martin is the tough receiver for the New Orleans Saints underneath. Has been now through his entire career. Good hands. He dropped a couple at the beginning of the game. But this time he holds on and gets the ball down to the 10-yard line, and they'll have to bring out the field goal unit.
Boy, that sure looked like a face mask.
I think that's what the crowd wanted.
Yes, they sure did.
Take a look.
From up here, it looked like one. Let's see. Nope. Well, that's the difference between being up here and being down there. You can see the forearm across the front, but Don Griffin did not grab the face mask.
Not a whole lot of difference for Eric Martin's head.
No, but still, that's just a solid defensive play there by Don Griffin. Almost got the football back out of there.
Now Morton Anderson with Tommy Barnhart holding. It'll be a 28-yard attempt. He's made one from 41, one from 39. And he has accounted for all of the Saints scoring in this first half, which still has 3 seconds remaining. They were concerned about Anderson because he didn't function that well in the second half of last season. Had a very erratic preseason, but he's been on the mark tonight, 3 for 3.
Well, was he 0 for 4 last year and anything over 50 yards?
He's got the big leg.
And the contract to boot.
Oh, Jim Morrow has to be pleased, certainly with his defense. They have played outstanding football against the 49ers tonight. They've been able to pressure Montana, and they have been providing excellent coverage on this great receiving corps. Rice and Taylor and the backs coming out of the backfield, they've done an outstanding job, particularly their linebackers.
Well, it's interesting to note tonight the field goal kicker is doing all of the scoring. Mike Hofer over the last 2 years has more points than any kicker or any body period in the NFL. And if you take it back over the last 3 years, that man, Morton Anderson, would lead the league in composite scoring. They've accounted for all 12 points tonight. It's 9-3, and we should be a squib kick here, you would think. The grounder up the middle. Taken by Tillman at the 9. Run back to the 17, and the teams will go to the locker room. Loose ball, but after the whistle. So back they go for the truncated half, which this year has been reduced from 15 to 13 minutes. 9-3 is our halftime ledger. And we'll return with halftime activities after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations and a look back at yesterday coming up at halftime. From the 1 out to the 11-yard line. Great kick coverage by the Saints. Benny Compton is down there, number 37, to make the tackle, and the Niners are backed up deep, and there are the numbers for the first half.
Really staying right in line with what we saw at the end of the first quarter. The turnovers evened up, and the yardage has the tendency to even up, but still a lofty edge going to the 49ers in that time of possession. Again, it has not translated to the scoreboard, but still a dangerous number to concede to the 49ers, to give them the ball that much.
From the 11, Montana, who's averaging less than 5 yards per pass attempt. Roger Craig had it, and it went right through his hands.
Flipping the switch. Tough to do.
Well, last year, Montana averaged an incredible 9 yards plus per pass attempt, which is unheard of. Tonight, less than 5.
Well, you saw Wayne Martin right there putting his hand right on Joe Montana's throwing arm just as he released the ball. Really didn't alter the throw. A very catchable ball for Roger Craig. An uncharacteristic effort by the 49ers so far.
2nd and 10 from the 11. Montana has it knocked loose. It's a free ball. Pile up at the 11. New Orleans has the football.
Now, if this was Atlanta against Houston, someone would pick it up now and run it in for a touchdown.
Well, about now.
About now is right.
Quan pulling it out of there.
Yeah, it's Pat Swilling coming from the backside. A holdout, missed all of training camp, and this time gets around the backside, beating Bubba Paris. There he is coming in. Still, though, Joe Montana had time to throw the football. It wasn't horrible pass protection by Bubba Paris. Tremendous coverage downfield again by the Saints in their secondary. There's Pat Swilling, 16.5 sacks a year ago. But as you can see, Montana's already on the move, trying to leave the pocket. This has been a sensational game played by the 49ers, by the Saints, rather, in their secondary. And Toy Cook now, one of the guys who's been instrumental here, being helped off the field.
The opposite cornerback was the man who made the recovery on that last play, Robert Massey.
If we talk so much about the inadequacies of the 49ers, perhaps we should be talking more about the great defense that we have seen by the Saints tonight.
The secondary play of New Orleans, Frank, has been nothing short of excellent.
And it's been disruptive up front.
1st and 10 from just inside the 11. And Fourcade scrambles and then throws a one-hopper into the end zone. Intended for Eric Martin. He was covered by Darryl Pollard. 2nd and 10.
That time the 49ers provided their own good coverage. Here's Eric Martin. And when you are down this close to the end zone, you got to be in there on top of your receiver. This is a good recovery on the part of Darryl Pollard to get back into it. Fourcade just, his reaction really is one against himself. He knew that he should have released that a little earlier.
2nd and 10. They can get a first down without getting the touchdown. They send Mays in motion. And Fourcade takes a timeout. The play clock was down to 5. Ronnie Lott that time was showing blitz as he came up to the line of scrimmage. And Fourcade says, give me a T. 14:32 left in the third. 49ers, he had a lot better time the last time he was here. The last time he was in New Orleans, 55-10 was the final score over Denver. Tonight, he's a little bit worried. Probably more than a little worried. 2nd and 10 from just inside the 11. Fake toss to Hilliard. Fourcade buys time, lost one into the end zone, and it is picked off by Pollard, but he's out of bounds.
Oh, he is?
That's what the back judge says.
Yeah, won't this warrant another look?
It will.
Boy, it looked to me like his body was in bounds by a bunch. Well, let's take a look at it from ground level in the back corner of the end zone. This ought to give us a sensational look at it. Now watch Darryl Pollard, number 26. There he has the ball. Oh, what are you guys talking about? Oh, that's an interception. That's an interception. If he's got possession of the ball, now that might be what's at question here, because I think the feet were in bounds. Did he have control of the ball up against his body, Al?
When you see it again, think of him as a receiver, because the same principle applies.
All right, here's another look. Let's just concentrate on the ball. But the knee's down. It looks to me like the right.
Did his elbow hit out of bounds before the knee hit? And again, keep in mind here, as they review it, you've got the 2-minute rule. You have 120 seconds upstairs to make a decision.
All right, now let's look. There's the right down. Let's watch in the left knee.
Does the knee hit before the elbow? Does the knee hit before the elbow?
Yes, it does.
Sure does.
That's an interception. That's an interception. Sensational look, guys. Sensational look.
Mark Wright is waiting for Bob Beeks upstairs to make the call. That clock is ticking down. They cannot hear us.
Which is, a real negative, I think.
Well, you never know. But run over there, Dan. Have a word with them.
I mean, how do you expect them to get it right?
I point that out so that people don't think that we can have an effect on what they are seeing and the ultimate disposition here.
Well, again, it has to be conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field. In my humble estimation, I think this is conclusive evidence.
He's got control. He's tucking it away in the left arm. There's left foot.
Look at the right knee.
Right knee.
It hits before the elbow.
There.
Down. No question. No question.
That's an INT, guys. That's an interception.
No question. Well, it's time, folks. I know that 2 minutes has elapsed. I would think they've gone past the 2-minute mark at this point. Again, in the old days, to wit last year, and back to 86, you could take forever.
Well, we're talking about either a 3rd down and 10, or it's going to be 1st and 20 for the 49ers at their own 20-yard line.
Well, it would appear to me that the look we saw and you saw met the criteria for overruling the call on the field.
Definitely.
It's the longest 2 minutes I've ever been.
The only question is knee or elbow first at this point.
And he has the ball.
Knee.
Possession of the ball is beyond dispute.
After further review, the play is ruled intercepted in the end zone. Touchdown.
Yep.
Exactly.
They got it right.
There's where the system works. Not popular here, but there's where the system works.
And what a great play by Darryl Pollard.
Yep.
It took 3 minutes unofficially, our count.
Now, what happened to the way it was explained to us that at the end of 2 minutes, it was over?
Well, they make time stand still occasionally.
Well, it stood still for over a minute here in New Orleans, but they got it right.
Which is the most important factor. 1st down from the 20. Here's Roger Craig. And that's about his best run of the night after the 28-yard line as Ricky Jackson makes the tackle, and Fourcade still steaming over the last call.
All right, well, let's be devil's advocates here for just a moment. And you're a New Orleans backer, and the 2-minute time limit expired, and the ruling went against you. I mean, they took 3 minutes.
They are telling us from the replay booth it only took them 1:57. Of course, their clock may have started a little later than ours. There's 1st down for Rathman to the 34-yard line.
Well, Ken Wolf, our producer, passes along that information. It was passed along to him, I assume, by Val Pinchback, who's the communicator this evening in the replay booth. Oh, there's the phone ringing again.
Right. It's Art McNally calling from New York. They say they start the clock when they page the field. In other words, from upstairs, they page the field and say, we're going to take a look at it. So it's not from the end of the preceding play. From the 34, here's Craig again. For the first time tonight, the 49er running game shows some semblance of what we've come to expect. Robert Massey makes the tackle.
Well, we can fine-tune how long the time took, but there's no question that the system did function and function properly. And Darryl Pollard was rewarded with what he deserved, an excellent interception.
2nd and 3, San Francisco at the 41. Saints lead by 6. 12:45 to go in the third quarter. And Montana has a first down as he goes to Jamie Williams, the tight end.
And here comes flag.
Yep, Rathman got involved in that one, and Gene Atkins came up.
Well, this was a question of both offensive players for San Francisco trying to pick off a Saint, and Saints coming in and flying into the huddle late. Now, Atkins did come in and deliver a shot right to the kidneys.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 28. Defense, 15 yards, first down.
I mean, he did come in and put a great shot on the kidneys. But then again, if a guy is stood up fighting for yardage and the whistle hasn't blown. All right, watch the upper left-hand side. There he is. Oh, that's Atkins coming up and dropping Rathman. Pretty good look.
Well, Atkins with a reputation for aggressiveness and the big hit through the years. From the 37-yard line, Roger Craig can't turn the corner as Swilling and Cook come up to stop him.
They move Atkins to free safety this year, probably to take advantage of the fact that he is a heavy hitter. He plays the same position as Ronnie Lott. Last year, he was working over the strong safety. He gets a little more freedom there, and that time it cost the Saints as he just took a free shot at Rathman and got picked off for it.
2nd and 10 at the 37. Montana over the middle. That's John Taylor, and Taylor gets taken down by Massey at the 22-yard line. So the longest, most sustained march of the night for the Niners, but there's a penalty flag down back at the 50-yard line. That's about where Montana was when he threw it. Jerry Markbright, our referee.
Personal foul. Head slap, number 97, defense, 15 yards, first down.
The rookie, Ronaldo Turnbull.
Well, they'll tack that on to a good effort by John Taylor. That time he was able to shake Massey and was wide open, but he couldn't pull away from the tackle.
That's a defensive line technique that was legal 10 or 15 years ago. No longer can slap a guy in the helmet.
1st and 10 from the 11 as Tom Rathman takes it to the 8-yard line. On a drive, the 49ers began at the 20 following the overrule from replay. So they've marched 72 yards.
Somewhere right now, Deacon Jones is watching this game tonight, shaking his head, saying, can you imagine it's a penalty for a head slap? The man who invented the move.
He rattled a few gourds, didn't he?
We're talking about he handed out some brain damage along the way.
There's no sound quite like it, is there?
No, sir.
Gets you alongside the head, close up that ear hole.
Especially when it's your head and your ear hole.
2nd and 6. Look out. Jackson with the blitz, but Montana gets the pass away. Rathman makes the catch. He's about 3 yards shy of the first down. Ricky Jackson dumping Montana, but Joe gets it away.
Watch Ricky Jackson. Look at the body lane. Look at the anticipation. There's little doubt that he's coming. He's known as hot. Joe Montana knows that Ricky Jackson is unblocked, and he did exactly what he's practiced hundreds of times. When the linebacker comes unblocked, you throw it to the prescribed receiver.
3rd down, 3 for the first, 4 for the touchdown. Saints lead by 6. 10-12 to go in the third quarter. That's Jerry Rice lined up in the backfield and in motion. Montana, after dancing, throws and finds the open man, Brent Jones, for the touchdown. And you give him that much time, and he will find somebody.
How many times have you watched the 49ers come with their rollout over this man's career? The catch, they call it, the one to Dwight Clark back in the early 80s. This time he rolls out, and nobody buys time like Joe Montana. He waits, he waits, he waits, moves around, finally looks over, finds Jones, and Jones is wide open.
Well, there's where the New Orleans Saints paid the price. They have had success tonight coming with the blitz and pressuring Joe Montana. That time they drop 8, only come with their 3 down linemen, and they don't get off the line of scrimmage.
49ers try to take the lead and do on the extra point by Kofer. That's the game's first touchdown, and it comes following the replay overrule and ensuing 80-yard drive by the 49ers.
And with the penalty, the major penalty with a slap against the head, it wasn't pretty, but it put 7 on the board as Montana dances around till he finds that open receiver.
On a designer phone, talking to the guys upstairs. After the 80-yard drive results in a 49er touchdown. Kofer's extra point gives San Francisco the lead, and Kofer's kickoff backs Fennerty into his end zone, and Gil Fennerty brings it back out to the 19-yard line. Let's go back and take a look at this replay, and I'll say one thing. There's a guy here who sure is a good speller. There he is.
There he is. Get a job done. There's an opening in Bismarck, you know.
For those of you that concentrated on the football, you are to be applauded as true connoisseurs of the game. For those of you easily distracted like Alan Frank, well, you got what you deserve.
You could easily work as a replay official.
Oh, yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Well,
Next step in life, a communicator.
Maybe tomorrow.
Here's Hilliard taking the toss on first down from the 19, and when it sounds like that, you know it's Ronnie Lott on the other side.
And again, it was Hilliard who collided and got the edge on Ronnie Lott. Again, with that low center of gravity. Hilliard, 5'8", 204-pounder. Take a look at it again. You won't find anyone that run any harder. Look at the size of those thighs. He just dips the shoulder and catches Lott. You notice the shoulder pass, he tacks on another yard.
Still, though, it was Hilliard going forward. Ronnie Lott, for the second time this game, taking on Dalton Hilliard up around the shoulder pads. You would think Ronnie might want to contemplate getting down a little bit.
On 2nd and 5, play clock down to 4. And Fourcade goes deep for Perryman, who's out in front, but knocked away at the last moment by Darryl Pollard, who made that interception that has turned the game around and now makes a great defensive play to cost New Orleans what was clearly going to be about a 50-yard pickup.
He turned into a superb defensive back here. He played Tim McClure last year. Now, look, the Perryman has the inside on him. Had Fourcade led that to the inside, we might have had a different story, but Pollard was right there.
And Perryman hurt himself at the conclusion of the play. Brett Perryman, trying to make an adjustment to the ball, ends up being injured, and he has not moved. He's still down at about the 20, just now getting up and working his way back to the New Orleans bench.
So that ball led to the inside with 6 points.
Yeah, looks like it might be a cramp that was moving around.
On 3rd and 5, they get the first down on a pass caught by Eric Martin, who's tackled by Eric Davis at the 40-yard line. 8:45 to go in the 3rd. And there is Perriman.
And when you see a guy with his legs stretched out like that, more often than not, you're talking about a cramp, and that's good news. Eric Martin holds on to the ball. Watch the shot he takes in the back. Ooh. Ooh. Better him than me. Again, Eric Davis, the hittee.
Here's Hilliard.
The hitter.
Hayward. Taken down up at the 44-yard line after a pickup of about 4.
You know who hasn't been a big factor in this game is Charles Haley.
Right.
Effectively handled up front.
Haven't given him a call tonight.
Haley, of course, coming in late to training camp, just reported the other day, said he had been working out while he was holding out, but he has not been the usual obvious 49er defensive player that we usually see when we watch them.
You got to credit Stan Brock, number 67, the right tackle of New Orleans.
Yet they move him around a lot, and they want to move him over to the right side for a pass rush. They do that also.
Yep.
2nd and 6 from just outside the 43. Fourcade, look out from behind. Sure enough, there was Haley.
There you are.
He heard him.
And he's going to get the sack. They're going to rule in the grasp and control. This time, he moved it over the other side and worked against Kevin Haverdink, the left tackle. But this is a sack that Charles Haley gets, even though he arrived at the quarterback about 6 seconds after the play.
He came from the right side. He ordinarily lines up left linebacker, but he comes from the right side equally as well.
Yeah, that's a good hustle sack by Haley. But again, Fourcade had more than enough time to throw the ball, and I win the timing award.
Yep, you sure do. Now, you haven't won the lottery in a long time, right?
Yeah. And it appears I never will, even though I need to get a job.
3rd and 13 from the 37. Fourcade had room to roam, but finds the open receiver, and the catch is made by Floyd Turner, his first catch of the night, and he takes it to the 21-yard line.
Something about him. There's something about this guy.
42-yard gain to Turner, the second-year wide receiver from northwestern Louisiana.
And a big gamble there by Eric Wright. You saw Wright come up and try to get the shot on Turner, and he missed. Eric Wright, number 21, came up for the big hit on Floyd Turner, missed him, and you can see George Seifert telling him about it right now. A gamble that time by Eric Wright that backfired.
And it did not go over well at home. George Gifford, principally the defensive coach of these 49ers. He knows what each and every man out there should be doing.
First down, Hilliard gets away from Brooks. Oh, can't get away from Pollard. And coming up to finish him off was Ronnie
Lott. Hello, sports fans.
Felt that up there, and as well as hearing it.
Ronnie Lott catches Dalton Hilliard spinning off an attempt at that. This needs nothing. Just listen and watch. Again, Ronnie Lott coming from the right.
You think they don't earn it?
Oh, man. And Dalton Hilliard is not the same.
3 hard-earned yards, to put it mildly. 2nd and 7. And the whistle, because the clock, I believe, had expired. Jerry Markwright says no, it was... Yeah, I guess it was.
Number 74.
It not only had expired, but Haverdink had started before the play as well.
Haverdink must have had his eye on the clock. He said, we got to get this thing off.
I think he might have had his eye on Charles Haley, too.
Haley, top of your screen, again, moved over on the right side as you 49ers go to the 4-down lineman.
And you see that subtle little rock by Haverdink? That's all it takes. Your hand doesn't have to come all the way off the ground as an offensive lineman. If you rock back in your stance, kind of settle back on your haunches, you'll be able to draw that flag. Not that you want to.
2nd and 12. Fourcade, little dump off to Dalton Hilliard, and a great tackle made by Matt Millen, tripping him up. Matt, let go by the Raiders last year, and that's the type of thing the 49ers have become noted for, to go out and find that veteran in the middle of the season to come in and do a specific job. Jim Byrd is another one last year.
It was strange with Matt Millen, though, Al, because the year before he'd been a Pro Bowl linebacker for the Raiders, and they cut him late in the season and picked up by the 49ers, and then when Farnhorst went down in October, he stepped in. He's been a starter ever since. It's more than that, a very inspirational player. He brings fire to the game.
3rd and 12. Fourcade throws back across the middle, and Ronnie Lott intercepts. And out to the 27-yard line. And interceptions are the difference in this one right now. Pollard at first, and now Ronnie Lott stymies this New Orleans drive.
Well, the game Ronnie Lott is playing, and he has been under fire. Had rather mediocre preseason, and he's been all over the football field, banging, hitting, inspiring everyone else out there. And this time he's Johnny on the spot, and he gets his 49th career interception for the 49ers at a very opportune time.
Francisco from the 27 as Roger Craig on first down gets knocked down at the line of scrimmage by the left side of the Saints line. And the left linebacker as well in on the play. Number 53, Vaughn Johnson. Ronnie Lott with the interception. That's number 49. He is the 49er record holder. The interesting thing is one of the guys who backs him up now, the longtime veteran Dave Waymer, signed by the Niners as a Plan B free agent, holds the all-time Saints record for interceptions.
He's got 37. That's not bad over an 11-year career.
How's that for a quick start?
All right, Dan. A little boxing blow-by-blow here.
All right. Where's Alex when I need him?
Yep.
Steve Wallace, the right tackle, got about a 2-yard head start.
False start, number 74, offense.
Well, that is a quick start, and Ricky Jackson was not going to let the situation go to waste. He's going to cross the line of scrimmage. Look at Wallace take off and go.
Jackson gets an extraordinary jump every time on the ball, and that, of course, is what Wallace was thinking. This is my man. I got to get to him.
That looked like a little training camp skirmish. That's the kind of thing you see during practice.
Looked like a man in motion.
Right now, Steve's feeling kind of bad.
2nd and 15 from the 22.
I'm telling you, Joe Montana is going to the long count.
This is no play. No play.
But Joe's going to the long count, and it's his own team that's paying the price. They were quivering there again, Frank.
There's been a lot of concern. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. I don't think George Seifert is very...
False start, number 74, offense.
I don't think he's totally sold on what he's doing with this offensive line at the moment. Harris Barton, who played right tackle a year ago, playing the left guard. Steve Wallace playing right tackle. He alternated with Bubba Paris last year, and this is a big change for this offensive line.
Here's Wallace up here, but watch Bubba Paris at the bottom. Bubba flinches too. Take a look at Bubba Paris. You see Bubba with that quick flinch? That's enough to bring the flag. This was everybody moving. Joe Montana's going, he's doing too good a job.
2nd and 20. Rathman tackled at the 25-yard line, and it will be 3rd down and 12 with under 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and San Francisco on top by a point. Talked about the 49ers getting off to somewhat stumbling starts. For instance, last year on opening day, they were taken down to the end by the Colts, but they won by 6, and they pulled out a miracle win over Tampa in the last 2 minutes. And then, of course, they went to Philadelphia and erased a big deficit and blew the Eagles out in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 12.
Oh, great protection.
But Rathman has no blocking and gets tackled by Troy Cook.
Again, the coverage in the Saints secondary, nothing short of sensational. Nowhere to go except dump it to the 3rd, maybe the 4th guy.
Jerry Rice been blanketed all night long. There he is, top of your screen. Robert Massey giving him a little bump. About this time, Montana is in a lot of trouble. Rice tries to give him an angle, but Montana has to dump it off. Good coverage.
Morris is back to receive the kick at the 35-yard line. Barry Helton standing at his own 12 to receive the snap. Good kick. Morris at the 26. Back to the 37-yard line. Tackled by Martin Harrison. New Orleans ball with 1:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. 10-9 San Fran. Stadium will be the venue next Monday. The Chiefs off their win over Minnesota yesterday. Christian Okoye, a big day against the Denver Broncos, who have to rebound after that abysmal performance yesterday against the Raiders, losing 14-9.
I guess it was 135 degrees on the floor of Arrowhead Stadium yesterday.
New Orleans on first down from the 37-yard line. Fourcade back across the middle, but he threw it behind Brett Perryman. He was under pressure, and the secondary did its job as well for the 49ers.
Well, sometimes it's very beautiful, and sometimes it's very ugly. John Fourcade seldom is somewhere in the middle.
Well, the last two drives have ended in very ugly fashion for the Saints. The key play in the game right now is the interception by Pollard in the end zone when the Saints were driving up by 6, looking to go up by 9 at least, or maybe 13, and instead the Niners with the interception and the ensuing touchdown mark. Reuben Mays is out of bounds up at the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7. Funny how Mays and Hilliard both came along in that same draft. Reuben had that sensational rookie year. We talked about it before. Injuries each season, and then last year he missed the whole year. That gave Hilliard the opportunity to play, and Dalton has certainly made the most of it.
Dalton over 1,200 yards a year ago, and in his rookie year, Mays over 1,300 yards.
3rd and a long 6 from the 42. Fourcade under a 4-man rush escapes and picks up the first down at the 50-yard line.
I think that's what we've been talking about all night long. That wasn't very pretty. He's getting pressured out of the pocket, but he's a good athlete. Big, strong, goes about 215 pounds, and he puts it down. He knows where he had to go, and he gets the first down.
Frank, they talk about quarterbacks with linebackers' mentalities.
Linebackers' bodies.
Example. At the 50. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Reuben Mays can't get on track, and a flag is thrown. Michael Walter made the tackle at the 49-yard line. Flag coming in from the line judge, Dale Orem, and the call goes against New Orleans if the 49ers would like to accept it.
And Hobie Brenner walking back to the Saint huddle with a dejected cast of his head. Hobie, if it wasn't on you, don't act like it was on you.
Holding number 85, offense. First down.
Get that head up, Hobie. Hobie, one of 37 USC ball players playing the National Football League on active roster.
All right.
Into yesterday and tonight's play.
I'll lead you into this, Frank. He played at USC with
Ronnie Lott in 1979 against Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Yep. There's the hold with Brenner
On a USC national championship team.
All right.
A little trivia.
I owed you that one.
Third quarter, done. To the fourth we go in New Orleans after this word from our ABC station.
I wouldn't have brought it up.
Superdome in New Orleans. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf start the fourth quarter. Saints have it 1st and 10 at their own 41. They're down by a point. And Fourcade to throw. For Martin, nearly intercepted by Chet Brooks on a pass that was much too short. Well, opening night here in New Orleans, opening day yesterday, Jerry Glanville making headlines with Atlanta's win, and he put the exclamation on it today by calling Jack Pardee a jerk.
I don't know why we laugh when I think of Jerry Glanville, but he has a character. I mean, I don't know what you think of him. He is one of the most refreshing things that's ever happened.
Well, when's the last time you saw a pro team dedicate a game ball to a college team? I mean, the whole thing with Glanville is he was upset with Jack Pardee last year at the University of Houston, running up the score on SMU. I mean, now that, to me, there's a real reach, looking for a reason to be mad at a guy.
On 2nd and 10, Ronnie Lott again providing that hit after the catch is made by Eric Martin, short of the first down by about 2.
I mean, there is no disputing Ronnie Lott's greatness or what he means in terms of being the heart and soul of this 49ers squad. You can talk about Joe Montana, you can talk about Jerry Rice, and you can talk about Roger Craig et al., but it is Ronnie Lott that drives this team.
And a few words for Eric Martin just to hold on to that football.
3rd and 3 from the 43. And the catch is made for a first down by Eric Martin again.
And he came right back into that territory where he could just as well have taken another shot from Lott. Good, tough, strong receiver fits so well into the Saints ball control offense, where they throw the football a lot at 12 to 15 yards. Martin is generally the prime receiver.
Held on after bobbling it. Over his career, he averages 15 yards a catch. First and 10 at the 30-yard line. With Brenner in motion. They run it back the other way with Mays. Nowhere to go. Bill Romanowski, the outside backer, taking the spot so long occupied on a starting basis by Keena Turner, makes the tackle.
The Saints find themselves at a yardage point on the field now where even if they don't get a first down, they can't afford a couple of incomplete passes here. They need another 6 or 7 yards to move up into comfortable Morton Anderson range. Here with the ball sitting on the 32, you'd be looking at a lengthy field goal. You're up in the high 40s, and I think what they'd like to see is really move that ball another 7 or 8 yards up there.
2nd and 12. Too high, intended for Brenner. Going up in the air with the coverage was Chet Brooks.
I don't think enough has been said about the way Chet Brooks stepped into Jeff Fuller's shoes when Jeff was injured so severely last October against the New England Patriots. But he is kind of the unsung hero of this defensive unit. He has turned into a fine, strong safety.
Again, with it being 3rd and 12, here's a situation where if I was New Orleans, I wouldn't be afraid to run a pattern across the middle that only got me 7 or 8 yards. Right now, it would be a 49-yarder. I'd try to get him up closer to that 40 range.
Get back to Eric Martin. Work him. 10, 12, 14 yards.
Out of gun on 3rd and 12. Over the middle to Hilliard with room.
Ooh, he might have got
a very close to a first down.
And he got it. What an effort. And the 49ers that time defensively just totally disregarded Dalton Hilliard.
You can't do that. He was the 2nd leading receiver a year ago with 52 receptions. You've got to stay with this man.
Eric Wright was the 49er that came up and at the last moment really tripped the left leg out from underneath Hilliard. But Dalton Hilliard was all alone out in the left flat.
1st and 10, Saints at the 19. 12 minutes to go. 49ers ahead by 1. Tice in motion. Hilliard cuts it back. Tackled at the 12. Dombrowski with a great block to lead the way, and Ronnie Lott makes the tackle.
Well, you talk about a running formation. Did you see that load up front? Only one wide receiver in the game, all sorts of tight ends, and only one back. Haverdink, Dombrowski come around on the pull. This is a running formation. Watch the left side. Watch 72, Jim Dombrowski. There's his lead block. And again, a run formation all the way, a power formation.
And for Hilliard as he comes out. 2nd and a long 2 from the 12. You can see it on the far side, how far they have to go, just inside the 10. And here's Mays, and he loses yardage.
And that's been more than on one occasion this evening. Reuben Mays has appeared to be a little tentative, unsure of himself taking the handoff that time. It looked like there was some sort of confusion. I think that's what Jim Mora is looking around and looking for an explanation for right now. It's just a straight open handoff. I mean, it couldn't be much simpler, but Reuben Mays not quite sure where to go. Now, give a lot of credit there to Kevin Fagan, number 75, who got some upfield push.
3rd and a short 4. Saints at 50% on 3rd down conversion.
4 wide receivers.
Inside handoff to Hilliard, and he gets to the 10-yard line, but not enough. I think he's going to come up about a half-yard shy, and Fourcade with his hands spread apart showing Jim Mora just how far they have to go.
Boy, and
here comes Anderson.
And Jim Mora didn't hesitate. Maybe just for the slightest moment, the crowd started to get into it, starting to chant go for it, but he sent Morton Anderson out right away.
He's been in a seesaw battle with Nick Lowry, the kicker for Kansas City, for the highest field goal percentage in the history of the NFL over a career. If he makes this one, he retakes the lead.
Yeah, that 77.3 has already factored in the 3 field goals he's had here this evening.
He tries to go 4 for 4. 27-yard attempt. Barnhart to hold.
He ran out of time.
Yep. Clock was down to 0.
Yep. That one is
Non-existent.
The kick would have been good.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Shouldn't matter that much.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we'll see, yeah. I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Charles Haley hasn't had a sack all night either.
That's true.
The minute I say it, he gets a sack the next play.
Well, at least Anderson's leg will be loose.
You can see it tick off. You would think that the man...
They weren't even close.
No.
There's the flag thrown.
32-yard attempt now.
Yeah, Morton, don't worry about this one. Al already gave it to you.
Sure. There's your replay.
There you go.
Don't you feel good?
Oh, it's a rookie.
Al's right on top of it. No problem, Morton.
You could have gone to the kitchen early. Al already gave it to him.
Saints by 2. Anderson kicks off for the Saints, who lead it by a score of 12-10. 9:18 to go. A boomer.
Boy, think he's fired up? In the lead.
Yep. To update over a career. Now, with Anderson going 4 for 4 tonight in the history of the league, the top 3 are all active kickers. Anderson now on top by 3/100ths of a percentage point. Lowry second. We'll see Nick next week. Kansas City against Denver. Gary Anderson of the Steelers is third.
How many times the 49ers have been in this situation? You look down and you watch Joe Montana pick, and all of a sudden moves the length of the field and gets the winning score, the go-ahead touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Roger Craig knocked down at the line of scrimmage. You saw the flag come in. Vaughn Johnson makes the tackle. And the call is against San Francisco. And the Saints will decide now whether they want it to be 1st and 20 or 2nd and 10.
Holding number 84, offense. 1st down.
It's Brent Jones, the tight end, and Jones again on a holding call.
You can see him blocking right there, number 84, working against Wayne Martin. Tough to see at that angle. It's actually the referee that threw the flag.
1st and 20 from the 10-yard line. Craig out to the 15. Tackle is made by Sam Mills. It'll be 2nd and 15.
And all night long, every time Montana goes to one of his running backs, whether it be Raffin or Craig, we've had unbelievably sure tackling on part of the linebackers for the New Orleans Saints. I guess you would expect that. All 4 Pro Bowlers, but the 49ers rely on that so much in their offense. Their running backs with 140 receptions a year ago. They break those tackles and get the big yardage on the short pass, and they're not getting it tonight.
On 2nd and 15. Almost intercepted. Should have been by Gene Atkins.
You don't get many chances like that.
He's thinking run back.
Boy, you don't get many chances like that.
Oh, he was thinking end zone all the way, and it would have been in the end zone.
Montana was trying to hit his tight end, Brent Jones, and Atkins reads it all the way. Going to get a great look at it. Here's Jones breaking right into the middle. Again, Montana locked onto Jones, and you saw Atkins easily step in front. You don't get many of those, especially with this guy throwing them.
Montana knows he has to be careful with it down here. 3rd down, 14. Still 8 minutes to go. They'll get it back again. Just don't turn it over down here.
And here comes the crowd.
On 3rd and 15. Rathman, the safety valve. Nets 5. Tackled by Cook, and the 49ers will kick.
Where are Jerry Rice and John Taylor downfield?
Covered so well.
Wow.
I watched them both on that play, and they were picked up. It wasn't that Montana wasn't looking for them. They were just covered well.
It's been a long time since I've seen Rice and Taylor this removed from a downfield game plan by the coverage of the defensive team. Exemplary work by the Saints.
Rice tonight has caught just 1 pass with 6 yards. Helton to kick. Morse to receive for the Saints. Short kick. Morse at the 42. Evades the initial pursuit and it brings it the 48-yard line. It's Vince Buck running it back, the rookie from Central State, after a 39-yard kick. Saints have it at midfield. In the Superdome, the New Orleans Saints leading by a score of 12-10, and they take over at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10, 7:13 remaining. And Dalton Hilliard is stopped just short of the 50. Let's take a look at the head-to-head quarterback matchup tonight. Montana and Fourcade. Joe, 21 out of 31. Fourcade, 12 out of 29, but for 186 yards.
Well, a typical game for Joe Montana in the sense that he's well over 50% completion-wise. John Fourcade well below.
2nd and 8. Hilliard takes it to the 46. It's typical in terms of Montana's completion percentage, but I pointed out before last year when he averaged that extraordinary 9 yards per pass attempt. And believe me, of all the numbers they run by you in terms of quarterbacks, the most important is average yards per pass attempt. And tonight he's been at around 5.
Well, I think
how many times did Rice and Taylor turn a 5-yard slant into a 60 or 70-yard effort?
Yeah, 2 things are missing, I think, are the completions to Rice and to Taylor. The other thing that's missing that we customarily see in a 49er attack are the backs that catch the ball out of the backfield, breaking tackles and getting 5 or 6 extra yards.
Saints have taken both away.
3rd and 5. And Fourcade dumping it off, intended for Brenner.
And Fourcade looks hurt. John holding his left shoulder.
And remember, that's what he injured last week against Indianapolis in the last preseason game. Fourcade looking over to the bench and saying he's all right. He can come out here anyway because they're going to kick.
There's the pass rush of Kevin Fagan up front. Watch John Fourcade.
It hit hard. It had to be something lingering from last week. If he either that or he had heard it earlier in the game tonight. But he's in pain.
In comes Tommy Barnhart to punt. John Taylor is back for the Niners at the 10.
A real squandered opportunity there for New Orleans, getting the ball at their own 48-yard line. 7 minutes left when they got it, holding a 2-point lead.
Couldn't pick up the first down. We have 5.5 minutes to play. Taylor calls for and makes the fair catch at the 16-yard line. San Francisco with the ball at the 16. They have all of their timeouts left. 5:29 on the clock. Saints by a deuce. 10-game road winning streak. The record, as you see, 11, held by the Chargers and the Niners. They're down by 2. San Francisco, in fact, has won 21 of its last 23 road games, and the 2 losses by a point each. They start from the 16. They're down by 2, and Montana goes back on 1st and 10. And goes deep, but incomplete, intended for Rice, and he was covered well on the play by, among others, Brett Maxey.
He was covered fabulously well by Brett Maxey.
And Montana was buried just as he released it.
I mean, actually, Robert, was that Maxey or Robert Massey? I can't, we'll give it to Maxey. I mean, yeah, there's Maxey coming in, 39. I mean, just look at that coverage. I mean, Jerry, I mean, their hands touched the ball simultaneously.
2nd and 10. Blitz. Down he goes on the safety blitz by Gene Atkins.
Boy, well timed. We talked about Atkins being a hitter. They moved him to free safety this year to take advantage of that. Get him a little more freedom, and that time he timed that out beautifully, anticipating the snap call, and he was in Montana's face before he could do anything.
Number 20, Atkins walked up on the line of scrimmage, so he shouldn't have been that much of a surprise to the 49er offensive line. It's not like he came out of the secondary. Lines up on the line of scrimmage. Should have been accounted for. Gene Atkins, the first time he gets to drop a QB. Why not Joe Montana?
At a perfect moment, 3rd and 18, and the Niners take a timeout.
And the crowd's going to take credit for it.
So the 49ers now have 2 timeouts remaining. They have 4:49 left on the clock. And 3rd and 18.
I think it was less a mix-up on the part of Montana. He just wanted to, I think he might have questioned the call that came in. This is vitally important at this point. 3rd down, long yardage. They've got to get something happening.
Coming up, college football this Saturday, we have regional coverage. Some of you will see Penn State against USC and their brilliant quarterback, the sophomore Todd Marinovich, 3:30 Eastern. Some of you will see Colorado eking out that win over Stanford the other night at the end against Illinois. And others, Miami trying to rebound with Dennis Erickson against the California Golden Bears at Berkeley. Then next Monday, from Mile High Stadium, it's the Chiefs and the Broncos at 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Todd Marinovich, father, was with the Cardinals at one time. Right, Dan?
A very different individual.
Certainly raised his son in a different fashion.
A fascinating story in SI.
3rd and 18 from the 8. Montana. And again, great coverage intended for Sherrard, broken up by Maxey.
That time double coverage. Maxey on one side, Milton Mack closing on the other side. Take a look at it again. And this time Montana is hoping that Sherrard, with that gliding speed that he described to us last night, that long stride would be able to pull away, but he was well covered inside and out. 39 is Maxey.
The ball
coming in
also
from the outside.
The ball also overthrown. That's a ball that Mike Sherrard would not have been able to catch. Although Joe Montana, seeing that coverage, you might think he might have put it out there on purpose.
Helton to kick. Vince Buck back for it. Line drive. Fumbled at the 44-yard line. Pile up at the 43.
Boy, the second muff of the night.
And the Saints have it. The Saints are able to maintain control of it.
What a great opportunity again for the Saints. A few moments ago, they had first down midfield. They could do nothing with the 49ers defense, and they had to turn it over. Still plenty of time for the 49ers.
Second muff. The first was by Morse. Then they put Buck back there, and he winds up coming up with a football in the end.
Talk about scooping it up with your feet.
So the rookie from Central State of Ohio, there is an injured Saint, and it is
Benny Thompson,
number 37. Benny Thompson, first-year player out of Grambling State.
Benny Thompson was actually the Saint that kept the ball alive by moving it forward with his feet.
He actually paid the price on it, too.
Yeah, he really did. Thompson has his legs straight out. Watch, there's Thompson right there. Watch how he straightens his legs out to actually try to pull the ball up towards his midsection, and then the pile comes in on the back of his legs. That was trying everything at your disposal to get the ball, and you see Thompson up and walking off.
And Buck, who muffed it and then recovered it. Looking on as the Saints take over at the 42-yard line. The Niner defense, led by Ronnie Lott, trying to get the ball back in a hurry with 4:33 remaining. By the way, one thing you've heard about the speeded-up rules, it reverts now. You're in the final 5 minutes of the game. It goes back to the way it's always been. When somebody goes out of bounds, the clock then stops and does not restart until the next snap.
Yesterday's games, by the way, ran 3 hours and 4 minutes. The average last year, 3 hours and 11 minutes.
And that's number 94, Haley, tripping up Hilliard before he can get started for a loss of 2.
So the fine-tuning of the kickoff, starting the clock as they were before and then changing that rule to where they stop it on the kickoff now has brought it down to where they picked up the 7 minutes they wanted.
Boy, a great play by Haley getting upfield. Look at him right there, taking on the block of Dombrowski, gets underneath Dombrowski, and just by a fingernail brings down Hilliard. That time Haley was playing a stand-up linebacker and getting upfield.
Second and 13. Fourcade, a little slip, and it's incomplete, intended for Hilliard. That's about the last thing you want to have happen. Incomplete, and that stops the clock with 3:46. On the second and long, it now makes it 3rd and 13.
Fourcade looking deep to Perryman, but
with a 2-point lead this late in the game. He might have gone to him earlier in the game, but he pulled it down and dumped it off. I think that was the situation where Dalton Hilliard was so preoccupied with keeping his feet in bounds. He was so tight to the sideline that in staying in bounds, he really didn't get far enough extended to catch the football. That would have been an easy ball to catch if he would have been standing out of bounds.
3rd and 13 from the 45-yard line. 4-man rush. Fourcade throws it up for grabs, and it is...
It's intercepted.
No, they're saying no. Eric Wright was there. He came up with the football, but it hit the turf. Well, Dave Waymer deflected it, the former Saint.
I think he was bobbling it and got out of bounds with it. Well, that's an easy interception because one of the 49ers knocked it out of the hands of another. I mean, I think we're looking at a situation where Dave Waymer has that thing easy, and Ronnie Lott hits him and knocks the ball away.
That goes back up into the air. And here comes Eric Wright.
Yeah.
And he never did control it.
But that's a ball that it appears that Dave Waymer is going to intercept easily until Ronnie Lott hits him from behind because Lott was going for the ball.
Here's Barnhart now to kick. Taylor calls for the fair catch. He's going to let it go and gets the break he wants as it goes into the end zone.
If the Saints lose this game, guys, they have to look at these last 2 possessions where they have fine field position and do absolutely nothing with the football, and now giving it back to the 49ers with 3.5 minutes left in the game.
In the 2 series, they wound up in a 3rd and 14 and a 3rd and 15.
Yeah, they'll have to look no farther than they'll have to go back to these last 2 possessions.
The 49er defense would get the credit for anything that might evolve from here.
So here's Montana, who lives for these moments. Down by 2, 3:29 to go. 2 timeouts remaining. And that's knocked down. Risky pass intended for Jones and broken up by Cook.
Montana actually hit by one of his own guys. Steve Wallace, the right tackle, makes contact with Joe, and I'm not so sure that he didn't force Joe into altering that throw. Watch Wallace there on the right, number 74. Yeah, I mean, boy, if that ball gets picked off, Steve Wallace is going to have a long meeting tomorrow.
He's actually ducking the throw.
2nd and 10. Craig in motion.
Look out, Joe.
Gets out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Swilling, chasing him from behind.
Giving his best Lawrence Taylor impersonation, trying to strip the ball out of Montana.
That was his intent the whole way. The only difference is he takes a colossal swipe at the ball and doesn't get it. Watch the big right hand come up. Whoosh! But all he did was scrape the number 6 on the back of Joe's jersey.
3rd down. A long 6.
LT's at home tonight saying, I would have had that.
They have to get to the 30. Too high. Intended for Rathman. He was shadowed by Johnson to begin with.
And the 49ers will punt.
We've seen an awful lot of offense these past 2 series, haven't we?
Well, if this crowd was ever going to get to their feet and let their defensive team hear how they appreciate their play, this is a good time. What a game by the Saints defensively tonight.
And neither team able to move it here in the 4th period when they had to.
And again, the Saints defensively, you knew about the linebackers, but there was a question about Swilling and whether he was in shape. The secondary improving. Very young defensive line. But a masterful job tonight, and it has thoroughly frustrated Montana and the 49ers. 3:12 on the clock. Hilton to kick. Bobby Morse is now back in to receive for New Orleans.
Beautiful.
Fielded at the 30. And Morris brings it back out to the 45. And again, the Saints with good field position. Exactly 3 minutes to go and 2 timeouts remaining. The reminder, tomorrow night, school is back in session. It's an all-new season with a brand-new teacher, and this head of the class is the teacher you always wished you had. The new head of the class premieres tomorrow after Who's the Boss, right here on ABC.
Well, you don't need to be Newt Rockne to understand that all we're talking about right now for New Orleans are first downs.
And it's been a little elusive here in the fourth period for both teams. 1st and 10 at the 45. Hilliard.
Oh, and Ronnie Lott hits it.
It's still loose.
It's still open.
And it's Jet Brooks who comes up with the football.
And Ronnie Lott makes it happen. Can you believe it? Can you believe Ronnie Lott in the game he has played here tonight?
That's one for the books tonight. He's been all over the field.
Unbelievable. And this time, Dalton Hilliard was lower than Ronnie Lott as he has been all night long, and somehow Ronnie Lott gets the ball out of there. You see Lott there in the upper right-hand part of your screen. Watch him come in.
And Hilliard knows he has to put that ball away, hang on to it. Lott just bulldog.
Yeah.
Hilliard, the ball comes free, and the 49ers with a golden opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, a good play by Ronnie Lott, but at the same time, very poor protection of the football by Dalton Hilliard.
Absolutely. And you know they're going to be trying to rip it out. And meanwhile, the Saints were so dismayed, they were forced to take time out here on defense as the Niners came up to the line, and that could be very costly. Now they're down to just one.
And Jim Mora has to be saying, can you believe this?
2:50 to go. Again, the Saints have one timeout. The 49ers have two. And you've got the 2-minute warning as well. You know, Hilliard, he was shaken up in that Indianapolis game. We've been watching him from time to time tonight. He's been grimacing. He's been getting a lot of attention on the bench from the training staff as well.
Oh, look at the foot.
Bill Romanowski got a little foot in there, didn't he?
Yeah, hey, guys, love to see that again. Bill Romanowski got a right foot up on the ball. Tough to tell if it was hard enough to actually dislodge it. It was Romanowski on the sidelines, but he was on the ground and almost looked like he took an intentional kick at the ball.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He did. He booted that ball out of there.
Looked like Nureyev. On first down, it's Roger Craig for a gain of 1, taking it to the 34.
Now, what do you think, guy? I mean, was that intentional?
Well, you better believe it was. Stretch that toe out, flatten it out, nick the ball.
You're giving a guy an awful lot of credit in the heat of battle to be down on the ground and kick the ball out of the hands of a guy who's moving by you on his feet.
Well, I'll tell you, he's one of the better athletes on this 49er team. I don't think there's any question about it.
He did get a foot on the ball. That might be the most important kick of the evening.
2nd and 9 from the 34. And Montana tries to hit Craig, but Johnson is right there like a twin.
I think the most important kick is coming up.
If it was delivered, and of course was noted by one of the officials, it would be a 10-yard penalty. You're not allowed to kick it.
Oh, that's a moot point.
That would take tremendous presence of mind to think about kicking it out.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, if he hadn't pointed that toe, I'd say no, but he made the contact, had the toe pointed. Unless he just walks around pointing his toes.
Excellent topic of conversation, though.
Meanwhile, a very key play here. It's 3rd and 9, because if they don't pick up any yardage, you're looking at a 51-yard field goal attempt.
Oh, and there's a false start by Wallace. Boy, he flinched again. That's the 2nd time tonight. 3rd, actually.
3rd. Yeah, back-to-back jobs before.
You're right.
False start, number 74, offense, 3rd down.
Now, the 49ers they're letting their tackles move out of a 2-point stance. You can see Wallace and on the other side, Bubba Paris are both in a 2-point. Ricky Jackson not going to be a passive individual here and say, well, he can get away with it. He crosses the line of scrimmage and forces the call by the official.
That changes the whole complexion of a potential field goal. 3rd down and 14. They rush 6. Rathman makes the catch, but he is out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So you'd be looking at a 55-yard effort. Troy Cook with the coverage.
Oh, there's a pattern that mystifies me, guys. What is the thinking in completing that one? Rathman's boxed into the sideline to the point where the chances of him gaining much in the way of positive yards are almost negligible.
Well, here's Kofer now. He made a career-tying 52-yard field goal earlier, tying his career best. He's also missed a 52-yarder and missed a 47-yarder, though he did have the distance on each. This a 56-yarder. Helton brings down the high snap. The kick is just short.
Oh, by just so little.
So now we're to the 2-minute warning, and the 49ers will be forced to take their timeouts when the Saints have the ball.
Well, George Seifert showing great confidence in Kofer, letting him go from 56 yards out, and he was almost rewarded. This son of a gun almost made it.
Maybe from 53 or 54, but not from 56 from Mike Kofer.
Yeah, but he thought he had it. Watch this. He's going, yes, yes, it's there. Oh, no, it's not. He thought he had enough legs.
First down, Saints from the 38-yard line. The other bad break the 49ers got was that kick ended at the 2-minute warning. So instead of getting what would have been a free timeout, the Saints will be able to take some time off the clock, even if they don't get the first down, by letting it lapse after a third down. Niners take their second timeout here and have one left.
That's a great call, Al. You're right.
Interesting, too, that Ruben Mays is in there now controlling the ball on the ground, and Hilliard, who coughed it up a little earlier, is on the sideline.
Ball is at the 42. If the Saints can get a first down, it's all over. They have 1:54 remaining and one timeout left.
That is certainly no given. That first down has been elusive here in the fourth quarter.
If the Saints hold on and win this game, the standings in the NFC West would be absolutely upside down. Atlanta and New Orleans would be 1-0, and the Rams and the 49ers 0-1.
Guys, if I need a first down somewhere in this drive, I think that John Fourcade is the guy to get it. Not throwing the ball, running the ball.
2nd and 6. He gives it to Mays. He is tackled at about the 43. It's going to be 3rd and 5, and the 49ers spend their final timeout. So it's as simple as this. If the Saints get, look at this, he's talking to everybody in that Millen. If the Saints get a first down, it's over. If not, the 49ers will get it back.
Nothing like expressing love for thy fellow man.
They've been using Mays on the ground. Here's Milton.
Well, that's Joel Hilgenberg. Yeah, they're on.
Line up.
This is like the receiving line at a wedding. Oh, Matt, congratulations, congratulations.
The
so happy for you.
adjective's a little different.
Yeah.
The drill sergeant.
Well, somehow, in whatever play Jim Mora has in mind, somehow with me, it has to involve John Fourcade on the move, out of the pocket, and let him take off with it and try to make something happen.
One of their key operatives and receivers stays on the sidelines. That's Dalton Hilliard, and Ruben Mays stays in the backfield.
3rd and 5 from the 43. And Fourcade lofting it too long, intended for Perriman.
Well,
not back there covering. And so that not only helps the 49ers in the sense they don't pick up the first down, but the clock stops with 1:41.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's poor clock management. That's poor clock management.
Yep, they could have taken it down
under a minute, I would assume.
Yep. So now the 49ers are going to get it back. And San Francisco, of course, is out of timeouts. But that's nothing new to Montana. He's done it in the past without a timeout. Taylor.
Well, especially keep in mind we're looking at a field goal winning the ball game, not a touchdown.
Taylor to receive, Barnhart to kick.
Great, great punt.
A beauty. Taylor at the 8-yard line is out of bounds at the 17. With 1:30, a 49-yard kick and a 9-yard run back.
Well, I guess it's only fitting that the New Orleans defense be asked to win this ball game and go in there one more time and throttle the 49ers. This has been as good a defensive effort against the 49ers that Joe Montana has seen in a long time.
And they have really dominated here in the fourth quarter. The 49ers have been given opportunities. They just have not been able to take advantage of it.
The question now is, can the 49ers go an entire game without Jerry Rice really being much of a factor?
Rice left, Taylor right on first down from the 19-yard line. And Taylor gets open at the 40, makes the catch, tackled at the 43 by Gene Atkins. Again, the Niners without a timeout.
The Saints in a prevent defense. Massey took a shot at Taylor. Taylor slipped by him and caught the ball in between the two defenders.
First and 10, 44 again. Rice left, Taylor right. Swing to Rathman. Out to the 49 he goes. It'll be 2nd and 5. Cook makes the tackle under a minute to go.
An interesting choice by Rathman, moving back into the middle of the field rather than going for the sidelines. That cost the 49ers a bunch of time.
Second, call it 6 from the 48-yard line. 45 seconds. Montana lofting it out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 39 seconds. Jones closest. Kofor getting warm on the far side.
Well, a kicker's paradise here in the Superdome. No wind. Optimum temperatures, as good as you can get it. Unfortunately, there's pressure in here. And I don't mean atmospheric.
3rd and 6 at the 48-yard line. 39 seconds remaining.
Rice and Taylor getting so much of the attention. You almost look for one of the backs out of the backfield or the tight end.
This time Taylor left and Rice to the right. And they hit Craig. He has the first down, and he'll try to get out of bounds, and he does with 31 seconds. He's out at the 41-yard line.
And why does Milton Mack, number 24, give Roger Craig a shot like that rather than try to wrap him up and bring him down in bounds? Milton, you have got to wrap him up and bring him down. I mean, take a look at this. Watch Milton Mack come in. Rather than just do that, I mean, if he brings Craig to the ground, again, it eats up valuable time.
If they don't get another yard, they'd have a 58-yard field goal attempt, so plenty of time to move the ball down further with 31 seconds. And Montana does it to Rice, who makes the catch. That takes it to the 20. And here come the Niners in a hurry. Again, without a timeout. He beat Massey. They're within a 38-yard field goal attempt.
Actually, didn't beat him, Alice. To prevent defense, and the 49ers are just eating it alive.
It is not possible to go an entire game without Jerry Rice playing a critical role at some stage. It's just not possible. It's too good.
Here's Kofor as Montana stops the clock with 12 seconds. And here is Kofor now, who just missed a 56-yard effort that would have been good from 53, maybe 54. Now he's looking at a relative chip shot. 39 yards, officially 38. Helton to put it down. Chuck Thomas to snap it. And the kick is good.
And the Superdome is quiet.
Well, if the 49ers should make this one-point advantage stand over the next 9 seconds, two things. Credit the 49ers defensively here in the fourth quarter for the way they have completely shut down the Saints offense, and at the same time criticize the Saints offensively for not even picking up a first down.
Well, not only not picking up a first down, but they took 30 seconds off the clock in 4 plays.
Yeah. Boy, how close was that?
And you can also question the use of the prevent defense here in the closing minutes when their defense had throttled the 49ers offense throughout the entire game. They went to prevent zone defense, and Montana found the seams and moved the ball down the field with no problem.
Meanwhile, that field goal was a little closer than we initially had thought.
Well, the officials, it's very difficult to tell from that camera angle at the bottom of the goalpost. Neither one of the officials hesitated. You know, another instance we have to go back and just look at one specific play, guys. How about the third down play where Fourcade throws it downfield rather than running around trying to make something happen, chewing up a bunch of clock, and even if he doesn't make the first down, the clock continues to run. This doesn't happen if that happens. Jim Mora is going to have to wrestle with a lot of different options are going to run around his mind tonight. You see Steve Wallace I don't know if he's down on one knee in prayer or if he's ill. It can be an overwhelming situation to a player to work hard and come from behind and take the lead at the last minute.
Gil Fenerty's going to run it out.
Oh, that's
to the 17, and that's rather ill-advised with 4 seconds, and it's 1 play to go. And again, what it amounts to is Joe Montana has played Houdini yet again.
Well, that little run back cost the Saints 3 yards in field position and 5 seconds off the clock. But hardly the reason that they will lose this game tonight.
And the 11th consecutive road victory for these 49ers, tying the record and adding this game adding a little more to the mystique.
Guys,
they
remember
go for that 3rd consecutive Super Bowl.
You remember what I said at halftime about winning ugly? Good teams
win ugly.
Win ugly.
Last play of the game.
Unless there's a defensive penalty.
Yep. Niners secondary is in Mississippi at the moment.
Why not?
Time has run out. Fourcade is going to loft it into a sea of white shirts, and it's going to end with a Ronnie Lott interception, and that's the way I suppose it should end, with a 49er victory, with Lott coming up with a football.
Ronnie Lott, what a sensational football game. And Koper's kick wins it, but this guy's heart, I think, drove this team tonight.
Not to mention his skill, his timely interception.
24th player in NFL history to have 50 career interceptions.
So a terribly discouraging loss for New Orleans, and the 49ers feel like they just pulled off the great escape.
And guys, we got 16 more, and I hope they're all this close.
Just good. That's the difference in the game right there. 1 point and about 9 inches. Mike Koper wins it. San Francisco prevails. They win on opening night from the Superdome in New Orleans.
See you in Denver, guys.
13-12. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf talk to you next Monday from Mile High Stadium in Denver.